Good evening and welcome to one of the climbing meccas of the world. It's the men's lead semi-final, live from Chamonix. The mythical mountain town of Chamonix is playing host to the latest round of the IFSC Lead World Cups, and what a setting this beautiful place provides. Team USA were well represented in the women's qualifiers and will be well represented in the semi-finals too, after Margot Hayes and Brooke Rabatou, appearing in her first World Cup, made it through in 6th and 19th respectively. European champion Anna Verhoeven will also be there after a superb morning's work which saw her top both qualifying routes. Jane Kim also got 2 tops and will climb in the semis here in Chamonix, a place where she has previously won 2 World Cups. Elsewhere, it was also a good day for Laura Rigora, who made finals in her first ever World Cup 3 days ago in Villars and qualified in 9th here today, just behind Evgenia Kazbekova in 8th. Janja Garnbrecht, fresh from her win in Villars, looked her usual assured self and topped both qualifying routes. Her rivals, who were looking for chinks in her armour, will have been disappointed today. She looked in cruise mode and will take some beating this weekend. Team France had a good day at their first home World Cup of the year, with 6 of their 9 female climbers today going through to semis, with Julia Chanaudy placing highest in 6th. The Austrian women also clearly enjoyed the routes today too, with all 4 of their athletes going through. Here's what some of the women made of today's routes.
I'm really happy that I've topped both qualification routes today, so I felt quite good and the routes were really nice to climb as well. I like the wall here in Chamonix, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
The routes were really fun today. Like pretty hard, different styles.
The beginning of the routes wasn't that hard actually. It was nice to warm up a little bit more and go into the roof. And especially the last, let's say, 2 meters got really hard and you had to be really careful with your feet and hands in the tiny crimps. But overall the routes were quite okay for a World Cup.
The first one was more like jumpy and dynamic, which is more my style, so I really liked it. And then the second climb the style was more like slopey and compression and lots of heel hooks and stuff.
The qualification was quite nice. I'm not completely satisfied with my climbing as always recently. I don't know, I really wish I can fight and like give everything. It's not happened yet, but hopefully tomorrow in the semis, because I'm safe through, so that's the most important thing, I guess.
Yeah, it was my first World Cup, so I wasn't expecting much, but it was really fun.
The routes were fantastic, were great and fun. Unfortunately, I couldn't show my best in the second qualification, but I hope that I will climb tomorrow.
Over in the men's event, France was once again well represented with 10 climbers in action in a qualifying round which was heavy on tops. Both routes were completed by over 15 climbers, including European champion and last week's winner from Villars, Romain Desgranges. Kokoro Fuji, who has already won a Boulder World Cup this year, also topped both routes. Can he win a World Cup in 2 disciplines in 1 year? Stranger things have happened. Fedor Samoilov, climbing 3 days after his breakthrough event in Villars, when he claimed a bronze medal, having also made his first ever final, climbed well again today and claimed 2 tops and a semi-final spot. Sean Bailey also looked on form and will be looking to make it 2 finals in a row as well. Jan Hoya, fresh from his 4th place last week, is also keen to continue his good lead form, and the top today will have helped reinforce what he realised last week, that he can compete and succeed in lead competitions, something which Domen Skofic has long known about himself.
sa première, sa voie 1, j'ai pas de côte qui se lève This morning, I mean, to be really honest, I'm glad I topped like both of the routes, but again, they were way too easy. Like you could see in both of the routes already way too many tops.
Don't know why, but routes was easy, much more easier than in Villa.
So you've got a lot of pressure if you know you have to top the routes.
True, the bouldering season was a complete disaster this year, but you know, I've tested a lot of new things. I tested training back in Vancouver. I've already kind of calculated what I'm going to do next season. So bouldering is pretty much over. I still like to do Munich. I'm going to do the Adidas Rockstars, which I'm really excited for. Now Elite has started. Obviously I couldn't do the European Championships, and I missed the Villars World Cup to actually go to one of my best friends, childhood friends' wedding. So it was really important to me. Now I'm here, we're here in Chamonix. This is actually the 10th time that I'm here in Chamonix at this World Cup. I'm really excited. I just topped both qualification routes. Semi-finals is this evening, and I hope I'm in finals that are tomorrow. It's the first World Cup route of the season, so it's really, I would say, hit or miss. Like, I'm back at home doing circuits, I feel good, and I'm like, well, I don't know how it's going to feel. And I did my first qualifier, I topped, and instantly I was like, you know, I'm in it, I got it. I was psyched, I was confident for my second route, and now hopefully, I do feel very confident going into the semi-finals, and hopefully again, I'll climb like I did in qualifiers, which is well.
As ever, full results from today's qualifiers can be found at the IFSC website, www.ifsc-climbing.org. And we're just 5 minutes away from the start of this men's semi-final, so it's up to the commentary box with Alana Yip and Mike Langley.
Thanks, Charlie. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. That's right, I'm here in the commentary box with co-commentator and Canadian athlete Alana Yip. Alana, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Of course.
So, as Charlie said, we've only got a few minutes before we make a start. That gives us enough time to hopefully go through the start list and have a look at the lead climbing world rankings. But before we do that, Alana, I just want to quickly say, obviously, thanks again for joining us. I have a few quick questions. Obviously, it's your second Lead World Cup this year. How's Chamonix been for you?
It's such a beautiful town. I love it. The mountains are so amazing to have right there.
Yeah, it is an absolutely stunning place to be able to host a Lead World Cup.
Yes.
We are really, really privileged to be able to sit here and watch this amazing event. Obviously, the organisers of Chamonix just put on an incredible show.
Yeah.
We should be able to have a look at the overall rankings, hopefully, for obviously there's only been one Lead World Cup so far, but it'd be good to have a look to see where we stand with that. Hopefully the guys are running around pressing the buttons as we speak. There is a bit of a mad dash at the start here.
Oh, and here we see the women's World Cup rankings from this year.
Yeah, and we'll be seeing the women's.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll be seeing the women's lead semi-final tomorrow morning. But here we go with the men's category then. So leading the way, French superstar Romain Desgrange takes the win in Villars just 3 days ago.
Yes.
Following him, Domin Skofic, obviously we've seen a lot of him in the bouldering this year, and a bit of a new face, super young Ukrainian Fedir Samilov, another young climber coming through the rankings and doing really, really well in the lead.
Yes, he was amazing in semi-finals in Villars.
And following up in fourth place currently, which is quite hard to understand really, fourth place Jan Hoya, fourth in the lead overall rankings, incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing to see a boulder, or what we think of as a boulder, coming up in the lead rankings.
Yeah, that's right. Following him, a Japanese athlete, and lots of Japanese leading the world standing this year. Yuki Hada. Christophe Hanky, the German, made finals in Villars. That's where he sits in 6th. Jörg Verhoeven, the ultimate all-rounder, in 7th position. And Sean Bailey, who is obviously the coolest guy in climbing, USA athlete, currently sitting in 8th. Just before we go on to today's current start list, we have an interview with one of the route setters. Okay, I'm just hearing in my ear. We'll come back to that interview. We'll just carry on. So Ilana, obviously thoughts on qualifiers. It was an interesting round in more than one way. It was a very easy round for the men, and you could see in the qualifiers package there that a lot of the men thinking it was too easy.
There were 22 people who topped both routes, which, you know, when you have only 26 moving on to the next round, that makes it very, very difficult. You essentially have to be perfect.
Yeah,
on both your routes.
I think obviously the climbers in qualifiers don't have the isolation, so they are sitting there, they are watching all of their fellow competitors get tops, I think that makes it more pressurised for them to come out and secure a top. To go out there and flash the route, I think that's almost more difficult than going out there and having a really hard battle.
Yeah, for sure. You know you have to make it to the top. And here you can see the start list for the women's semi-final, which will be tomorrow, or the first 10 of the start list.
So here we have tonight's starting list, and coming out in the first position, obviously it comes out in reverse order, so the top qualifiers will come out last.
So the last 22
yeah.
are the top qualifiers.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's quite an interesting point you make there, because the last 22 have to be ranked by their overall world standing. That's quite a rare position to be in for a World Cup, but Ramon's Julian Plank, an absolute legend of the lead climbing game, will be coming out in first position. He'll be our first athlete out, followed by the big man Jan Hoya. Jan, earlier on in the competition, after we finished his qualifying route, he really wasn't too happy, but he has scraped in. He'll be coming out second. French athlete Charlie Blen after him.
And here are the next 10. You see a good mix of nations represented in the semifinals here.
Yeah, plenty of people to get through tonight. We have 26 in total.
Yes.
Coming out in 20th. Team Japan throughout this year, especially in the bouldering, has been super strong, but Japanese representing in the routes as well. So Higuchi Mashiro coming out in 20th. Sean Bailey, you can see him there, who made the finals. He's in 17th. And lots of big guns coming out in tonight's final. It's really looking like a tantalising semi-final round. I really can't wait to get started, and we are not far away from the start of this second Lead World Cup.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. There's lots of strong climbers for sure.
So these are the top 6 qualifying from the qualification round. So Kachira Karenga, Sebastian Helenk, who's been a great on form throughout the last season. Sean McCall, obviously you could see there in the video, he's super psyched to be able to get through into a final. Obviously he's had a bit of a disaster through bouldering season. Semi-final, me. Well corrected. Stefano Giscolfi, always on good form, extremely experienced, a 9B climber outside. And wait until this guy comes out. Roman de Grange coming out second last. That's going to be a real show. Thomas Kovic coming out next. And we have one of the route setters.
Route setter here in Chamonix this week. I do apologise, by the way. Observation is going on as we speak, and I think one or two climbers might walk across the camera. That's fair enough. They've got something to concentrate on. But Martin, in the qualifying round, we maybe had more tops than you were expecting. Have you made any changes to the semi-final route?
Yeah, of course we made some changes. We didn't expect so many tops, but finally we have 26 the best athletes from the qualifiers, and they all are possibly going to the finals. So yeah, we made some changes to make it harder, but we couldn't make it too much hard, because otherwise we can otherwise it can be too hard. And yeah, it's
a very fine line.
Fine.
It's a very fine line between you make it too hard or too easy. What's the basic style of the route? I see there's quite a big jump about halfway.
Yeah, the style is, I think some guys will like it, especially big guys, strong guys. They are all strong, but especially maybe for the boulder athletes, more will be the style of the route, because there is a lot of big moves, some jumps where you have to be decided and to go confident.
There you have it, Mike. Should be a good show.
Well, Ilana, Marcin makes some good points there, and I think what is interesting is normally, obviously today the qualification rounds were a little bit easy, but it proves that climbers have to climb their best in every single round if there's a situation we have to go to countback.
Yeah, absolutely. There's you either have to fight hard until you fall, or you climb perfectly to the top.
And one other point Marcin was making there is obviously the route setters at this stage have got an extremely difficult job. They've obviously seen the routes. They've been watching the athletes all morning, and they have to think back to when these routes were set, which could have been 3 or 4 days ago. Obviously, different conditions today, a lot hotter. I asked the route setters earlier, said it was a lot hotter during the week when they were setting these semi-finals, and now they have to sit there and just remember those difficult moves and think, right, have we got the level right? Can we get these guys down to a small number for the final?
Right.
It's such a difficult job.
Yeah, separation is always what you're looking for as a route setter, and proper separation, not just everybody falling on the one bottleneck move.
Well, I think what's going to be interesting as well is you've got the qualification round and the semi-finals for the men's all in the same day, and realistically some of the athletes who are coming out last in the qualification really haven't had much of a break. They've not had a much chance to rest. Do you think they'll be able to regain the confidence, just kind of rest, recuperate, drop the stress levels, and then get themselves ready for a semi-final?
Yeah, I think that having the semi-final in the same day and having topped both qualifiers, you're still in that competition mindset, that calm, collected, confident mindset. So although you haven't had the rest as you would if the semi-final was the next day, you're still in it.
Yeah. So for those guys who've just tuned in at home, we are here live for the men's semi-finals in Chamonix, under the foothills of one of the most incredible mountain ranges in the world. An absolutely beautiful spot, and the crowd is building for what is expected to be a really tantalising semi-final round here. You can see there the incredible wall just underneath the mountains in the centre of Chamonix, and this is one of our first looks at what the guys are going to be up against tonight. Ilana, what do you think? You've had a chance to have a look at the route.
It looks really cool. I mean, there's a big jump in the middle, which I think will be exciting and committing. I think that's pretty much the name of the game for this route is committing.
Well, and I think, again, when I was having a chat with the route setters earlier, they said, the qualifiers route, were more sort of conventional, around 40 moves, just kind of tic-tac, just kind of more resistance climbing, and we've started to see the style change in the routes. Obviously we've got the new time limit of 6 minutes rather than 8 minutes, and we'll cover a little bit more of that later on when it becomes kind of prominent in this semi-finals. But the route setters are now, they seem to have put in a few more tricks, and they've got a few separation moves potentially with an early jump, and someone like Julian Plank, obviously super experienced, been competing for what seems like forever, 34-year-old athlete, has traditionally in the last few years not enjoyed the new style quite so much, not had such great results. What do you think to this new style in the routes, kind of a bit more volume based, a lot more aggressive moves, and potentially a lot better to watch?
I like it. I think it's exciting. Maybe in a qualifier round, having a lot of volumes as handholds is not my favorite thing, because I think that sometimes with changing weather conditions and a lot of climbers, they can degrade. Kind of the friction can degrade quickly, but in a semi-final or a final, I think it's amazing.
So you can see the athletes have head back behind the wall to the isolation zone, and we will shortly be seeing our first climber, which is the man himself, Ramon. And what an athlete to start, and this is going to be quite an interesting start to a semi-final round. Someone who's won multiple World Cups before, coming out in last 26th position as our first athlete. That's going to be an interesting start here in Chamonix.
I think he's not taking anything for granted anymore after he didn't make even semi-finals last week in Villars. So
yeah, that's right, and that is a bit of a turn up in the books. But there's so many incredible athletes coming through, and a lot of young athletes. We've seen a lot of the athletes who are coming through from the youth, a lot of youth World Cup winners, World Championship winners, European Youth Cup winners. So many of those guys coming through to the seniors, and now starting to dominate the seniors.
Absolutely,
as well.
Yeah.
The old guard have got to stay on their toes when it comes to the Lead World Cup.
Yep, and we'll see how well he can do that in just a few minutes.
So you can see we are outside in the square here in Chamonix. The crowd is building nicely, and there's lots to do around the arena. We've got tents, beer tents, stalls. It's brilliant, and we have Charlie down at the wall.
Hi Mike, yeah, just a quick point. This Chamonix World Cup, in some ways, it's viewed as a jewel in the crown. It takes place in the heart of the Alps, right at the foot of Mont Blanc. I know just from spending the last few days here, it feels like a huge event. Really interesting to watch observation. We were actually amongst the climbers while we were observing. very little talking. I don't think I've ever seen a group of athletes talking to each other so little during observation. Possibly feel a little more competitive. This is the one really they all want to win. It's the Monaco Grand Prix of climbing, if you like. Interested to see how little interaction there was, and I do wonder if it's increased nerves, increased competitiveness, but just a little thing I noticed from being down here in the front.
That is a good observation. Ilana, what do you think? I mean, we've seen in some competitions, especially the major events, you get that sort of interaction between the climbers, especially in the bouldering. It's really obvious to see that. Potentially as the competitions get more serious, do you think we're going to start to see kind of people keeping themselves to themselves a little bit, or will that spirit of climbing stick through where they socialise and talk about the beta?
I think that socialization and beta sharing will always be a part of climbing.
Okay, I'll put this to you. If you feel like you can win a Lead World Cup, you feel like you've seen the trick move that no one else has spotted, would you share that with somebody else?
Oh, I think I would, because I wouldn't want to win it on something that nobody else has seen, something more just on like who's the best climber, not.
Yeah. Well, and also if you may feel like you have the only gem of information that no one else has seen, but they may have seen something you have not seen. So
exactly.
It's a back and forth. It swings and roundabouts a little bit.
For sure.
And if you can hear in the background, we are very, very close to our first climber, and out he comes. It's Julian Plank starts our competition here in Chamonix, the semi-final round. So Ramon has a few seconds just to gather himself before heading off. Obviously this is the third route he would have done today. He's done 2 qualifying routes already. He was actually the only climber not to top the first route out of the group.
Right, out of everyone who made it to semi-finals.
So our first opportunity. So Ramon now has 6 minutes to try and make an impact on this route and head through to the finals. And we are a little bit worried. Obviously Ramon's definitely one of the shorter competitors for tonight's finals. In 6 or 7 moves he has a jump which in the past has caused him issues. So we're going to wait and see.
I hope he's been working on them since Paris last year.
Well, I think, he is a professional, so surely, he knows the style's changing. He would have had a look. Surely, he's going to have a chance to see where the style's heading. So, I mean, this guy has been an absolute weapon in the past, though. So let's see how he goes. Slow and steady so far. That's definitely his style.
Yeah.
Kind of super strong on the lock-off.
For sure.
Fine work so far, and Ramon's had great luck here in Chamonix before. He was actually the European champion back in 2015, where he won the event here, which was, if anywhere is to win a World Championship, Chamonix is the place to do it. What an amazing venue. So here we go. This is a set-up move on these expression holds. So he has the left hand, moves to a very similar right hand, sets his feet, and it's our first opportunity to have a look at this fiery first dyno here in the men's semi-final round. So come on, Ramon.
Let's see it. Just having a second, just sizing up the jump before he...
I don't know about you, Elena, I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I think he's doing this on purpose.
So I think the local MC is winding everybody up and down, and he winds up for the jump. Come on, Ramon.
Oh,
nice. Yes. Well done, Ramon. Sticks it, gets the early nerves out of the way. That is what we wanted to see. We don't like to see anybody drop early on in the route.
No.
So you can see this huge wall here in Chamonix. This section he is going into is 60 degrees overhanging. We have been reliably informed. Super steep section, and some of the athletes are saying, this wall is really, really steep, potentially too steep, but it gives an opportunity for different styles. As soon as you start adding these volumes, you can make more technical moves. So we kind of got 3 ducks, I'm going to call them, lined up. So 3 volumes, all lined up in
with those blue holds on them.
Yeah, a neat row and a great angle there. You can see just what Ramon's having to deal with, the steepness.
Getting his heel or toe on there, and
oh no! Oh, he looked so comfortable there. He looked like once he had that toe in, he was comfortable, but he knew he had to release the toe, and in releasing the toe, the hand slipped. Ramon's out of there early. Obviously, time will tell with 25 athletes still to come if that's going to be anywhere near good enough. But at this early stage,
you have no idea.
No idea, but chances are, to be honest,
probably not.
It's not going to be enough. So it's potentially another poor result for Ramon. That is a real shame. Really struggling to find his form recently. from a former European champion. To come out and fall early on is a bit of a shame. Look at that, it was incredible. For one, caught it with the left hand and the right hand joined him. What a move.
Yeah. Really happy to see that he got that jump.
So you can just see here on the replay the point where he lost it. So the right toe is just behind there. He needed that to get the rollover. As soon as he releases it, the body tension goes and he's out of there.
He knew he had to get sort of the compression on those 2 blue holds.
Yeah. And up next then we are very excited to bring out the big German Jan Hoya. 21st in the European Championships and a great result last week in Villars, 4th. And for a boulderer to get through on a World Cup, that's something.
Maybe we can't call him a boulderer anymore.
Well, we'll see.
Call him an overall athlete.
Yeah, maybe. Is he any good at speed?
I heard he's pretty good, yeah.
Okay, so maybe Jan Hoya is one of the athletes we're hunting down a Olympic medal. Jan Hoya is known for his fast speed when it comes to lead climbing. He knows that basically as a boulderer his endurance is not going to be the best, and in the post-match interviews in Villars he said basically it's all about sprinting as fast as physically possible to try and beat the pump to the top of the wall. Great qualifying round for him as he lines up for this jump. Surely for the big man this is going to be no issue.
He probably could have static that.
Yeah, two bent arms when he caught that. Ramon was fingertips on the left hand. The size difference between these two is probably the biggest contrast of any athletes we're going to see tonight. Yeah, Ramon obviously probably the shortest athlete. But Jan, he seems to be a relatively good pace at the moment. I wouldn't say he's going excessively fast. Maybe that's due to the nature of the technical style through these volumes, but here we go. This is where we lost Ramon, so let's see what Jan Hoya can make of it.
It doesn't look to be a struggle for Jan.
No issues so far for Jan Hoya. So he heads through this super steep. You can see the way his chalk bag's hanging there. It's hanging completely off his back. It shows you how steep it is at home. Another great angle. See the quick draws hanging down. Again, highlights.
Just dangling, making it hard to catch.
A few issues. Maybe as a boulder he's not quite used to clipping quick draws. I'm sure he wouldn't like us to hear us say that, but hey.
Yeah. I'm sure he's been practicing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool sequence through the pinches here. Oh, and he's finding a knee bar. No hands rest there. Awesome. He pumps up the crowd. I wonder how many of the athletes are going to be able to find that no hands rest knee bar there. He's got pretty long legs.
You do wonder if he spotted that in the observational period or if it's just slotted in when he got there. He had pretty long legs, and I'm not sure if some of the smaller athletes will find that. Obviously time's going to tell very early in tonight's semi-finals. A good work so far for Jan. Obviously he made the finals last week in Villars. He's coming out early on in the semi-finals, but there's no reason why he couldn't be a finals contender tonight.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a really tricky section. Oh
no! Heel toe cam just slips out there.
Yeah, he went for the heel toe cam to try and take the weight off the arms. It slipped out, and you can see on his face the agony. He wasn't really tired there, I don't think.
He wasn't ready to come down.
Oh, that's really, really frustrating. The crowd all gasped at the same time because he was looking really steady. The feet just went, and no prisoners in lead climbing. He's out of there.
Shame.
Yeah, real shame. I know he's a crowd favourite, but not meant to be tonight for Land. Oh, and you can just see the way he just relaxed. He thought he had the heel toe in. And for those guys at home who may not know what heel toe lock is, I'm sure many of you do, but it's basically like camming your foot in a crack, effectively, made by two holds. The heel locks and the toe locks, heel toe lock. And
we call it heel toe cam in Canada.
Okay. Good to know. Well, next time I'm in Canada, I'll be looking for some cams. Out next then, one of our first French athletes, Charlie Blin. And the French crowd here really know they're climbing, and they definitely know they're French athletes, so I'm sure everybody will start coming to life in the arena. Elana, definitely crowds building slowly into tonight's final. They do love a nighttime finals here in Chamonix.
Semi-finals.
God, that's twice now, isn't it?
It's because usually it's only the finals that are at night. Usually we have semi-finals in the morning.
I've got my days upside down. Here we go then with Charlie Bleen starts his campaign on the start of this men's route.
Oh.
Not the ideal start, slight hesitation. You do wonder if nerves plays a part in this early sections.
Absolutely could, yeah.
Especially as a French athlete, a lot of pressure on the French athletes you feel here this weekend. They really put on a show, the French team, and even with the presentation of the athletes yesterday, the French team were front and centre of the stage. It's definitely Vive la France when it comes to the League World Cup here in Chamonix.
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, as an athlete, you got to take it as you feel the support from the whole crowd, you know?
Yeah, and I think the crowd just want to see a good show. They just want to see some hard moves go down.
And they'd really love to see it happen for the French athletes above everyone else, you know?
No doubt. So Charlie, slow and steady so far, no issues leading up to this point, but to be honest, he does look a little bit nervous, and so he should be with this jump coming up. So allez.
Easy.
No issues. It's starting to look like that dyno isn't the hardest move in the world, but it's just one to kind of jog the nerves and think about the next section of route. So Charlie didn't actually have the best European Championships in Italy earlier on this month, 44th. So he's done well to make the semi-final here in Chamonix. So far so good for the French athlete. Let's see if he can get further on this route and push for a place for the finals.
Yeah, hopefully. Same spot that spat Ramon off.
That seems to be the first kind of real resistance move for the athletes. The first real challenge after the jump.
Didn't look nearly as easy as when Jan did it, but still made it through.
That left hand is actually quite a low percentage move, really. It's a good hole, but it's been blocked by a large sloper, making a kind of thin crack. Just one of those moves. It's a real test, and we could potentially see some athletes falling there. Deep into the lock-off now, Charlie. Allez.
Same cool angle that we saw for Jan Hoya as he tries to clip this dangling draw. He had a lot less trouble with that draw than Jan did.
Maybe he's just clipped a few more in his lifetime than Jan.
It's possible.
Struggling to find the momentum on this route so far, Charlie Bleen. And out of there early, that's a real disappointment. Real disappointment there for Charlie. I'm sure he would have liked to push on further on the route, but he never really found his momentum, and it's not meant to be here in Chamonix.
All right, up next we have Christophe Hanky from Germany. He made the final last week in Villars.
Yeah, so we're expecting big things tonight. Obviously, we've seen one of the finalists from last week, Jan Hoya, drop early. Let's see what Christophe Hanky can do. 6th last time out in Villars. Just before we start with the next athlete, we have Jan Hoya.
Very disappointed. What happened on the route? Was it a slip? Were you tired?
I tried to get too fancy. I had this heel toe cam and tried to clip. I got a little overexcited because I realized I'm only 10 moves away from top maybe, and I was still super fresh because I found this amazing knee bar. Bottom section was really my style, athletic, compression climbing. I think I cruised it pretty fast, and then I found the rest. I wasn't pumped, found the rest. I think that was really an opportunity to have a great go, and now, well, I'm still psyched with climbing in front of the audience and making semis for the 3rd time in a row. But I feel like on this one I should have performed better.
But it's interesting seeing you. You seem really relaxed. It seems like you're loving lead climbing.
Yeah, it's definitely less pressure. If you don't invest as much time in training, and then your expectations can't be as high. Today when I saw that we had to basically top 2 routes, I was okay. I just tried to run through those qualification routes and then see afterwards what the result will be, and I was really happy to be in 25th place, which was the best I could have done in qualies today. So semis are always fun for me.
Well, it was fun watching it, and we'll let you watch your compatriot.
Thanks.
So great interview there with Jan Hoya, and we're back with Christophe Hanky lining up the jump. No issues.
Easy.
Yeah, and you'd expect really Christophe to do well here after being on form last week out in Villars. Expecting big things from this guy on this route, but we've seen that route says have obviously ramped it up massively since the qualification rounds.
Yep.
No cruises to the top in the semi-finals, and that's what we want to see.
Well, yeah, not so far. This time will tell.
Plenty of athletes still to come. We have our 4th athlete out at the moment, out of 26.
Oh, he's trying the heel hook here instead.
Oh, great body tension there, just
nice.
power through the left toe. Makes his way through there, still has to cut loose on this section, which we've seen all the athletes who've got that far do. Such confidence required to fire up there, and you can just see once again the physicality of this route. A lot of cut loose moves, lots of jumps, lots of big holds, but far apart.
Yes.
So Christophe has actually been competing since 2011, so he's been in the game for quite a while, started to make a real impact on the scoreboard in the latter years. Obviously, like we say, on form at the moment. This is the next move where we saw Jan find a knee bar. So, and he said in the interview there he was so psyched to be able to find that knee bar. You called it right. Let's see what Christophe can do.
I wonder if they discussed it.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't even need it. We'll see, but
maybe he's that fit. Oh, trying the left hand there. That's
I got to feel that that's not going to be the method. Fired it into it as a backhand.
Yeah.
The other climbers matched and rolled into it with the right hand.
But the way he stuck that, there must be a jib on that hold.
Yeah, I think there's either going to be some form of in-cut screw on hold in there, or something. It's obviously a half decent hold to be able to hold that position.
Yes.
Obviously not good enough to stick. And you can see here
he almost reeled it in. His foot just popped off that big hold there.
You could see he knew he was in trouble and went for the hand to foot. He actually stuck his foot on top of his hand. Not the position where you want your foot. And he's out there. So another surprise drop. Christophe Hanky potentially would have thought there could be more from him.
For sure. And
we are into the two tops in qualification club. So this next selection of 22 climbers has not fallen off so far today. Got a feeling.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that's about to change.
Yes, I would assume so. So Jan's score is looking pretty good now. Obviously, we've only been through 4 athletes, but people are struggling a lot more on these routes.
Yeah, it's really hard to know kind of how the level's going to pan out in this route. I mean, from a crowd point of view, from our point of view, we really want to see some tops. 1, 2, possibly.
Yeah.
That would be the dream. Obviously, like we say, we've got plenty of ways to go. We are in Chamonix Town Square for what is surely one of the highlight lead competitions of the year. And our next athlete, Piotr Szab from Poland.
That's a difficult name.
27th out in VLRs, but world ranked 70th, so way down in the rankings, but doing all right in 2017, 2016, 36th Chamonix here last year, so he's already improved on that result. Obviously likes it here in Chamonix, 22nd at the European Championships in Italy earlier on. So Piotr is obviously on form. Let's see what he can do. These routes, I mean, it's just incredible the level of resistance these athletes need to get through these semi-finals. The difficulty level is absolutely insane in terms of the overall level of these routes. No one would like to give it a grade, but it's way up there for sure. Multiple climbers in this final would have climbed 9As outdoors.
Yeah, and you know that they can, flash on site 8B, 8C. So
yeah, 8B is a walk in a park for most of these athletes.
That's true.
So here goes Piotr on the dyno. So he's actually they're not really jugs he's jumping off there, so it's kind of crimps in the back. Great set of holds here.
Or jumping too, really.
Yeah, it's no gimme that. And it goes instantly steep there, so you're not exactly hanging around and resting. You can get a little bit back, but it's one of those opportunities. It's almost harder to leave that position than it is to stay there, due to the fact that it's all power from this point onwards.
You're getting into that really steep section with the bad holds and.
Well, I think we've really started to see the climbers stalling through these next moves. It would be interesting to see someone really flowing through them, but I think the difficulty level is just so high. Front goes for the heel hook method.
So much tension for these moves.
Looking good, but the right elbow is up slightly. Showing signs of fatigue here already from Piotr. Quite slow so far. Come on. Oh, loses his feet once again. Come on, Piotr. Keep it together. Another big move.
Oh, okay.
He's back.
Caught that blocked hold.
Finds a little bit of a moment of calm. Hopefully he can just regain himself and just tackle this next section.
See, Jan and Charlie both got their feet out left at this part, but
He seems to have manufactured a bit of a rest here with
Christophe did not.
Yeah, saying he's manufacturing a half-decent rest here. Obviously, he only has 6 minutes, and it's it's halfway at best on this route already. So he can't be resting there too long. But I think, to be honest, he's blown a lot of energy at the start of this route. So I think it's really now is he knows he's probably not going to get the top, but it's just getting as high as physically possible.
For sure. Maybe he'll get it back enough energy to race through the next couple quick draws.
So Davai Piotr, let's go. Come on. Seems to have found a bit of energy back in the tank, back in the forearms. But so steep, this wall's really unforgiving.
He's hesitating, he doesn't know what.
Oh, sticks it. Oh! Gets the score on that hold, but was absolutely fingernails to the walls there. Just as before he came off, he was so stretched, no chance of holding it.
No, not really.
So we have another look. You can see he went for it, but didn't hit it well enough to be able to cut the feet. The thumb didn't really compress the hold just as he wanted. Left foot.
And the left foot slipped off there.
Yeah, left foot went, and in that sort of angle, if your feet go, it's game over. Pretty decent effort, but another athlete struggling through the lower section, as we have an interview with Christophe Hanky.
Yeah, Christophe, you just come down off the wall. I just spoke to you. You said you were still feeling tired from the qualifiers.
Yeah, really feeling tired from qualifiers. So my muscles are really tired now. So I feel it in the road, and yeah, but that's a game.
And that dynamic move near the start, is it hard or is it just high risk?
Especially this one, for me it was hard because I'm really small and I really have to jump, but it's not super hard. It's also more risky and it's fun.
And we saw you in the final in Villars last week. Just quickly, how was that experience?
Yeah, this was one of the most one of the best experiences in my life for sure. So it was super cool, and now I'm super psyched for training and competing. So yeah, it was great.
Hey, well, great to watch you again today. Thanks for talking to us.
What's really interesting there, Ilana, is that Christophe saying he's super tired from the qualifying round. Now, we saw in the qualification highlights that the athletes saying the routes are too easy. They may think it's too easy, but it's not really helped them in terms of the fatigue. It's obviously 2 tops, that's a lot of climbing.
Yeah, for sure.
We are now joined by another French athlete. It's now Monchot.
Made the semi-finals last week in Villars, coming 25th.
Yeah, considering his world 69th is a great innings there for him out in Villars. So let's see what another French athlete can do. Obviously the French come to life once again. So far so good.
He's nearing this jump.
As an athlete, Ilana, when you see this sort of jump on the route in the observation, what do you think? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing from your point of view as a mindset to come out and try and tackle it as Now's now trying?
I don't think of it as good or bad when I'm competing, just as another challenge I have to tackle. And usually on a route, what I tell myself is that the jump isn't hard, the jump is just committing. Don't hesitate and you'll be fine.
Good, positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
As always, that's what we want to see. So, into this next section then. The blocked hold, heading up with the left foot. His feet just skittering slightly on the wall through this steep section.
Not quite hitting it.
Yeah, and that's was exactly what we're talking about. A hold, it's a good hold, but it's blocked, it's high precision. It's kind of firing into a letterbox at full speed on a 60-degree wall. If you can imagine
that easy.
If you can imagine that at home, that's a good imagination if you can. But you can see there just the sort of precision required to hit the slot, hit it but not deep enough, and in that angle, the feet left behind you are out of there.
Just needed a little bit more height on that one. So next up we have another Spanish athlete, Javier Cano Blázquez. Oh, I'm sorry for butchering that.
Javier Cano Blanque. We're gonna go for.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. Our Spanish is terrible.
So Javier is out next, and we're really rattling through this semi-final here in Chamonix so far. A lot of drops around the same sort of height. The early dyno not causing any problems so far. No one falling off there, but scores not too pretty at the moment.
Yeah, Jan holding a pretty decisive lead right now.
Yeah, so at the time we were saying that Jan's result was probably not going to be enough, and obviously it's really too early to say, but yeah, he's currently sitting in first position.
By six holds.
Yeah, currently Jan with 30 points on the board. Obviously the higher the athletes get, the more points they secure. Each hold has a score. If they go for a hold but don't secure it, they get half a score higher than the previous hold, a plus score. So Jan Hoya currently sitting with 30 points on the board, and Piotr Shab behind him with 24, joint with Christophe Hanky. As we look at Javier working his way through this initial section, looking pretty calm and collected at the moment. So far so good. Let's see how he gets on the dyno. Another good catch, another nervy moment. The crowd seems to hold their breath every time someone lines up for that jump. I know I certainly do.
Well, they know there's no coming back once you've released. That's it.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, in lead compared to bouldering, there is no second chances.
Absolutely.
And Jan was saying in his interview that he actually feels there's no less pressure in leading. I mean,
but I think for him, he was saying that he doesn't train so much for it, so that's why the pressure isn't as high.
So the Spanish athlete lining up for this next early crux section. Been competing since 2011, so he's got a lot of experience. Good set of holds here, and these expression holds won't be too familiar with the athletes. Potentially a new set of holds for him, one of the first times they would have ever held on to these holds. No problem through that section where we lost Now Monchot. French athlete. So far so good for Javier here, looking really solid. Gets a nice drop knee in, finds a manufacturer's rest, and he's got that left foot, as you said earlier. You saw some of the earlier athletes.
He didn't quite find the nice sort of toe hook drop on the last couple holds, but he found a pretty good one.
Interesting, looks like he's going to fire up his left hand here. That's trouble. And another athlete reads the sequence wrong and is out of there.
Yeah, we saw Christophe Hanky trying that earlier, and it also turned out the same way.
So it's our 7th athlete on the wall, and our 7th athlete falling within the bottom half.
6th? I would say that Jan got higher than that.
We'll give it to him.
He was almost at the last angle change, I think, so.
Another great shot. You can see how steep that is, and just that sort of large bowl holder going off there. I think they need to get on the underside of that with both hands to be able to roll up with the right hand. Again, a mistake in the reading potentially, or just a mistake, just an issue with fatigue. As we have a look at the scores, Jan Hoya sitting at the top. So far so good for Jan. You can see he did actually get 6 moves higher than Piotr Shab behind him.
You can see 2 ties we have there between Piotr and Christophe, and
so those 2 guys, if they were tied, if they were part of the group that had no falls, all joint 22 athletes at the top, that would have to go back to time from the qualification round. And this is the difficulty that we were talking about in the earlier program, with athletes all tied going into a semi-final round. This has really got to split them. So far so good. There's only 1 tie, potentially in the lower ranked athletes. So we really don't want to be in a situation where we're heading back to count back on time, due to the fact that pretty much everybody topped the first 2 qualifying routes. We are joined then on the stage by Yuval Shemla from Israel. Yuval 16th last time out in Villars and 13th in the European Championship. So
some pretty good results.
Guys on good form. And he's actually a very young athlete, 2nd in a European Youth Cup in Austria this year. So Yuval no stranger to a set of hard moves on the route and some great results. So let's see what he can do. Obviously now he's in the senior category, so the level inevitably is ramped up significantly.
Sticks the jump with ease.
Yuval looking pretty comfortable so far, I would say. But that's pretty much the story of this route so far. Pretty comfortable up this stage, and then it's all guns blazing from here on in.
And then it's very uncomfortable, very abruptly.
Comfortable to uncomfortable, not pumped to 100% pumped very quickly on this route.
Yes.
And a number of quite similar moves here almost. Quite stretched, toe hooks and a lot of power. This looks savagely difficult. So hard early in the route. It's a pretty good looking route though, and we're really looking forward to seeing some of the athletes coming out later on to hopefully make an impression on the top half of the route. We've been promised some pretty spectacular moves up there, some fireworks. And as the sun sets here in Chamonix, under the foothills of Mont Blanc, the lights come on and its stage is really set for an awesome semi-finals.
Alright, I wonder how he'll read this next move.
So this is the move, as Elena says, that's caused issues. Reads it right straight away, no issues. Straight into the crossover with the right hand.
He hasn't clipped.
Just about stretches to reach it. Do wonder if the officials will be having another look at that to make sure his feet didn't go past the quick draw. Have a couple of the technical delegates sitting in front of us.
It's okay as long as you can reach back with your hand. I'm pretty sure.
We'll check the rule book. Sounds like good knowledge there from Elena. That's why we have you here. Expert in the booth, all things lead climbing.
I'm much less aware of the lead climbing rules.
This is good work here from Yuval. This is where we start to see Jan Hoya having difficulties. Jan got through this section.
Nice. It's not trying a heel toe cam, at least yet.
Not yet. Here we go. Yuval, come on, let's see a new high point.
Now he is.
Finds
and sticks it.
Finds the toe hook nicely with the left foot. Looking really composed here. The Israeli athlete. Come on, Yuval. The crowd's really behind him.
Nice.
Great progress here.
Starts to make his way onto the last head wall.
Angle really drops off now, and look how bad that pocket is. Looking good, but he's looking tired.
Oh, the elbows so far up.
Working his feet. One more move. Come on, keep fighting. Oh.
Nice effort.
A fantastic show there from Yuval Shemla. Put on a great performance. Was looking tired through that section, but just kept fighting. That's the true tenacity of a route climber.
That was impressive.
Really good fight, and look at the smile on his face. He really enjoyed that. Well, with 16th last time out in Villars, this is potentially a really good show here, and it really opens up kind of what we could expect later on in the competition. A lot of strong athletes still to come, and Yuval really into the last third of the route there. So put my neck on the line early. I think we could see some tops here.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully not too many.
Yeah. I'm sure if we start... Excuse me, I'm sure if we started to see a lot of tops, the route says we'll be panicking.
Oh, the MC getting Yuval to go back on the stage for a round of applause from the crowd.
The guys here in Chamonix really like to put on a show, and they've started to get everybody excited early, and this is only the semi-finals. We've got another day of competition climbing still to come. As we are joined on the stage by the all-round climbing legend, Jorg Verhoeven from the Netherlands, 7th out in Villars, pretty much the definition of an all-round climber. This guy's been on the scene for a very, very long time.
And all-around meaning outdoors as well.
Yeah, big walls, trad, boulders. This guy's got it all.
He's pretty awesome.
And he's an absolute legend when you sat down and have a chat with him as well. As you can see across the top of your screen there, this is the current standings with Yuval Shemla 34 plus. Jan Hoya, 4 moves than Jan Hoya as we saw. So will it be enough? Jorg Verhoeven will be swiftly behind him, no doubt. He's an incredible athlete and had a really good qualification round, looked really comfortable. Has actually won here in Chamonix previously, so he likes it here. He likes to put on a good show as well, so come on Jorg.
et 2 pour les speakers. C'est des dingues, les Suisses, des fous.
Nice. Very smooth on the jump.
Jörg Verhoeven, the actual overall lead World Cup winner back in 2008. Back in the day, you know, we're talking a long time ago.
2008, yeah, that's 9 years ago.
Indeed. So Jörg, no issues with the early jump, looking calm and composed. As an all-round climber, and especially as a strong boulderer, no issues with that type of move. But there's certainly no doubt will be some issues through this next section because it's savagely difficult, as we've seen a lot of athletes dropping these next few moves. The tension required through that move, and you can see the elbows up straight away, the power required. And that move would be hard on a bouldering competition, never mind the lower third of a route. You can see the strain on his face there straight away, veins popping in the forehead. Come on, Jörg. Jörg Verhoeven then into this next crux section, kind of the second crux on the route. Hopefully we won't see any route reading issues here from Jörg. Seems to have got the beta down, under wrapping that left hand.
Oh no!
Right method, but wrong execution. Hard luck for Jörg Verhoeven, fuming as he gets lowered down. Really wanted to see Jörg get a bit further there, but proving once again that it's such a difficult move.
Là, à chaque fois, on les voit toujours, dès qu'ils arrivent au sol, on regarde pour voir où ils ont commis l'erreur, ce qu'ils auraient pu encore faire. Et ce qui est dommage, c'est qu'ils en avaient large sous le pied.
We have actually got some of the athletes kind of getting psyched next to us into the commentary booth. There's a lot of chat going on about what's going on in these routes. You might be able to hear that over the headsets. Athletes off the wall, kind of pretty psyched, I would say. Pretty psyched, but pretty challenged. Slightly more demoralised than they were after the qualification round. But Julval's just left next to us, and we'll hopefully be hearing from him shortly. As the next climber out, we're going to see David Fernanberg from Germany. David, another incredible athlete who's done really well on the bouldering scene.
Yes.
Has done well on the routes as well. Another all-rounded climber and just superb at both disciplines.
And he was on the podium for in the overall competition in Paris last year in the World Championships. So
David starts his campaign, and he might be liking the bottom of this route as we've got Charlie with Julval.
Julval, that was unbelievable, what a fight.
Thank you very much.
It looked as if you were starting to fight from quite low down, and it was just one move after another. Just talk us through that last minute on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel quite good since my warm-up already. But then, like, when I climbed the route, the hold was pretty good, but the positions were not quite good. So it was hard moves. But then when you get the hold, like, you can shake and you can a bit of recover. And then, like, at the last minute, like, with this crowd, everyone is yelling, and like I was smiling, like, and I surprised myself. And I'm really happy about the route and about my climbing.
Were you still feeling the tiredness from qualification, or is it just a really physical route, or both?
I mean, I think I was a bit tired because I finished qualifications about 3 hours ago, like 4 hours maybe. I climbed last, so like I didn't even warm up that much because like I was still pumped from qualifications. So I just held some jogs, and I think that on the route I'll like fight and do like as best as I can.
Well, it was awesome to watch. It's just an unbelievable fight and great piece of showmanship at the end, getting back on the stage to milk the audience.
Thank you very much. It was so much fun, and like the crowd here are amazing. Like so many people. It's really nice.
Back to you, Mike.
So another athlete saying that they're struggling with the fatigue after the qualification round. So let's see what David Fernanberg, see how he's faring up. He does more resistance training than potentially someone like Jan Hoya, so maybe the recovery is there for him. And I think it's going to be sort of more of a competition of resistance to the fatigue at this stage in the men's semi-final than potentially who's the fittest or who's the best lead climber.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
So it's great to hear from you guys on the Twitter, hashtag IFSCWC. Good from Mocha, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I do see her on the Twitter all the time. Jan Hoya's 4th place in Villars is actually better than how he finished in the bouldering all year, so maybe Jan Hoya is actually more of a lead climber nowadays than a boulderer.
Oh! Ask him what he thinks about that title.
You can see now David Fernenberg straining through the shoulders as he moves into this kind of real cruxy section on this route. Real resistance, and it looks like he's going to go up the left hand. Oh! Once again, Ilana, we're seeing athletes struggling with the sequence there. We've seen 3 people try out that method and 3 people falling off.
Interesting, 2 Germans tried that. So Christophe and David, but Jan did not. Gotta wonder if they chatted about their sequence or not.
Yeah, and Charlie was mentioning earlier on in the show that he didn't see much chatting going on there in the observation. So, like you say, there's a couple of Germans potentially talking to each other, but Jan, out of that discussion, didn't use that method.
Well, Jan probably didn't get to talk to them after observation because he was out second. So they had a lot of time back in isolation to discuss between themselves, but Jan was already just out to climb.
So would you say there's an advantage or a disadvantage to coming out first in this? I mean, you've obviously got the fact that you've just had the observation, so you can remember the moves quite easily compared to someone who's coming out an hour or an hour and a half later. But is it an advantage or a disadvantage, would you say? Because you miss out on the opportunity to chat to your athletes backstage.
It depends what kind of climber you are. If you are really good at figuring out sequences on your own, then maybe it's best just to climb it. Elsewise, you might get confused by what other people say or what other people have, assumed about the route, which, might not be correct. Have our first Italian athlete out now.
Yeah, Marcello Bombardi, great name. Competed back in 2009. It was his first World Cup, 25th overall in 2015, and never made a final, so maybe this is his night.
But was 18th last week in Villars, so 2 semis in a row, that's pretty good.
Good consistency, especially when the field these days is just so stacked with athletes at a very similar level.
Absolutely.
So difficult to make a semi-finals in obviously the men's, but in the women's as well. I mean, you're competing today, so tough to get through.
I'm not at the level I'd say that I need to be, but...
Yeah, but you did make a bouldering World Cup final, so hey, it's not all bad.
No. Pretty happy about that one. Marcello looking composed on the first third of this route.
Yeah, you can see here the spotlight is on. It means the sun is dropping behind the mountains. It's actually shining on the tip of Mont Blanc as we see it right now. Pretty staggering here in Chamonix.
Yeah, the glacier is all lit up. It's beautiful.
Not as beautiful as this route, though, I would say. I do love a good-looking route, and this is certainly that. Let's see what Marcello thinks of it.
They're comparable.
More of a competition fan than an alpine fan myself, so we'll see. But Marcello looking solid so far. We've seen very similar techniques, either a heel or a toe, through that right-hand blob at the top of that cheetah volume. And you can see the flex through the biceps, how physical this section is. Big move, so powerful. And you can see the style of the moves here, just how much resistance and power endurance is needed for an international competition climber. Normally with a route, say outside, it's a bit more consistent, a lot more about the endurance, but here it's just power, power, power all the way.
For sure. And the fact that you only get to climb, you only get one try on it.
So let's see how this guy tackles it. Marcello Bombardi gets the sequence dialed. This is looking good.
Nice.
Anybody who's got to the next hold has done quite well on the next section of the route. His leg is way too short there, Ilana, to find the knee bar that Jan had. It's a good few inches short of a knee bar there.
Jan is quite tall.
Yeah, Jan's actually the same height as me, 6'1", I believe, which is 186 in centimeters, I think.
That's pretty good. I don't know my own height in centimeters. Sorry, just got whacked by one of the athletes walking around the commentary booth.
So Marcello now, the crowd's right behind him. That's a great move.
So much shoulder. Nice.
Come on, Marcello. Really solid through here. Looking good actually here. The Italian athlete looking to improve his previous best. Come on, Marcello.
He's looking really relaxed.
Yeah, this is
a lot more than
we saw Yuval getting through this section with relatively ease, but then the pump definitely kicked in the next couple of moves. But so far, you can just see him relaxing there. So high up on the wall already. Come on, Marcello. This guy's looking really on form now. Remember, these guys have climbed twice already today, so it's all about the resistance to the multiple routes in one day. Great shot there. You can see the steepness of the wall, and this is looking really good. The crowd raises for him. Come on, Marcello.
Come on.
Keep the fight live.
Nice.
Sticks it. Looking really good now.
Moves him into first place now.
You can see him starting to breathe hard. Looks like he needs to get the clip, but he's really struggling which hand to get it with, and he's out of there. But a great fight.
That was amazing.
Brilliant to watch. I think he's only 2 moves from the top there, so got to be happy with that. The young Italian, great job. So as we can see, Marcello just untying. Sometimes when the athletes get super pumped, they have to get some assistance with the untying. No such issues for Marcello though. Will it be enough though, Alana? What do you think? Put you on the spot, enough for a finals position tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm gonna say yes. We've seen a lot of athletes struggling in the middle of this route. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a great effort. It was a good show. Fantastic effort from Marcello Bombardi. Makes his way off the stage. Hopefully, we'll be able to catch an interview with him shortly. We'll see. He's taking the applause for the crowd at the moment. High fives all round. Yeah, it's like he's just won the World Cup final. Yeah. This is brilliant here in Chamonix. You can see the pocket that he's going to with his right hand there. You've really got to find the right balance point to get the clip and then hammer into that pocket. And from here it looks awful, that hold.
I think you might have to get a toe hook up by your hand actually.
So the athlete out, someone who's really exciting to watch. Very well known on the bouldering scene. You can see him there, 24-year-old Japanese Kokoro Fuji. Likes to see. Let's see what he can do in the lead. He's the current World Cup leader, we believe. So
of the bouldering World Cup standings.
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome.
Did compete back in Chamonix here as his third lead World Cup back in 2016. So can definitely do some lead climbing, and did obviously two tops in the qualification round with ease. Let's see what the boulderer can make of this. And to be honest, if I were to put kind of an opinion out there, I'd say that this route potentially suits the boulderers. And we're starting to see that style coming into the lead climbing. No more sort of 40 or 50 move mega endurance routes that we see at somewhere like Imst in Austria. Slightly shorter walls, shorter routes.
More committing moves, more powerful.
And something more for the show, for the spectators. But it has meant that we're starting to see more boulderers coming into the lead climbing, which is really good.
Yeah, especially with the Olympics on the horizon. It's interesting to see the athletes who are making the crossover and doing it well, like Kokoro obviously is.
Great work on the dyno there. Kokoro having no issues. We've seen that seems to be the theme. Not too many problems through this jump, but it will certainly start pumping up the power for the athletes. Just as we have a look at Kokoro through this early section, we have Charlie with David Fernenberg.
David, really enjoyed watching you on the lead route we're used to seeing in the Boulder World Cups. How's the transition to lead been this season?
It went pretty fast actually. I started lead training before Mumbai actually, so I think I was well prepared. So I trained like 2 months of endurance, yeah.
And we're just watching Kokoro on the route behind us. What was the route like? I just spoke to you off camera, you said super pumpy.
Yeah, it was pumpy, not actually for the forearms, but for the upper body. Actually, it was raw power moves and dynamic. Yeah.
Well, great to watch you as ever, and thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.
So as we were saying there, and confirmed by David Fernenberg, this is pure power endurance on this route. That's a real sign. If it's upper body pump, that's all because of the power endurance, or the lack of it.
Yep.
But no such issues so far for Kokoro, but let's see how he reads this next section. This guy is savagely strong on the boulders, currently leading the overall standings, and we can see he's having a few issues here with that hold. Oh, so strong. Doesn't bother flipping the left hand underneath.
Oh,
goes with the crimp on top. Fine work. This route is just bang, bang, bang. Hard move after hard move. Small moments to chalk, but that is all recovery on these sort of power moves is so hard to get back. You can see there's never really two good handholds together with good feet.
No. That's on purpose because it's such a short route.
Here we go then. Fires into the shoulder move, holds the flag. Great work. You can see 2 tick marks there to help show the way on that. And this is where we start seeing a couple of the athletes getting through. Also, Marcello, the previous athlete, out looking really good through this section.
Kokoro looking pretty relaxed right now.
Japanese team throughout the bouldering.
Can't quite reach that clip.
Yeah, struggling. He's got the rope wrapped around him. We had a little chat about the kind of the details of clipping earlier, and we have confirmed that the highest clipping point is deemed by the route setters. If they go past that point, they no longer get a score. But no such issues here for Kokoro. He's just been in a bit of a tangle, but he's out of it.
And looking for that heel toe cam as well.
And we have a quick interview with Marcello Bombardi.
I'll be very quick, Mike, because Kokoro's high on the wall. Marcello, right at the end of the route there, looked as if he just ran out of energy.
Yeah, I quite ran out of energy. I still have some energy, but I didn't manage to get in the good position to hold, and so I fell, but I'm really happy with the climbing.
Do you think if you could do the route again, you would do something differently? Could you do it, you think, or is it just too pumpy?
I'm really satisfied with how I climbed, so I think I'm just okay with the climb, and I don't think I could have done better.
Okay, well, congratulations. We'll let you watch the rest of the semi.
Thank you.
So we can see there Kokoro Fuji seemed to go from sort of 0 pump to 100% pumped in a space of one kind of section there where he was struggling with a clip.
I think it was just that over gripping because he was, a little worried about that clip, and I think he should have continued and tried to clip from a little bit later. And it looks like he misread that section.
Yeah, it's a real shame. To be honest, I thought Kokoro could push further up on the wall, especially after Marcello's effort just before him. But you can see totally pumped as he walked off the stage.
Yeah, as he gets the walk through the crowd now. You can see the crowd for the semi-final here in Chamonix. Quite large for day 1 of 2 of competition.
Yeah, I can only imagine what the final is going to be like tomorrow night. I think
insane, packed.
There is sort of houses all around here, apartments and hotels, and I think people are going to be hanging out the windows to check tomorrow night's final. That will be 8 p.m. we believe tomorrow night, so do join us for the live stream. And obviously we have the women's semi-final tomorrow morning, which is set to be an absolutely awesome round. Some incredible performance, and people like Yanya just cruising earlier on, so I can't wait to see.
And Kim Jane.
Yeah, so many talented women athletes coming later on in the show. That'll be tomorrow morning. Really looking forward to that. As we have a look at Hans Puman from Sweden. Hans 4th actually in the European Championships out in Italy earlier on this month, and he's made finals previously in youth climbing cups.
He was 9th last week in Villar, 1 out of finals. Man, painful.
Yeah, the worst spot to be, I think, in the competition.
Yeah.
Knocking on the door of finals, but not quite there. Really frustrating. So the young Swedish athlete kind of making his way through this early section. No issue so far. The light changing here as it gets darker and the spotlights come into effect. Actually, after Hans, we will have a cleaning break. So that's halfway through the semi-finals list. Athlete 13. So we are getting close now. 13 athletes through. And after this, we have a short break for a clean. See, it's to make the competition fair for all athletes. You can start to see the chalk building up. I do apologise if you heard some scraping and rattling in the background. We have some athletes scurrying around trying to find their position, gathering their stuff and chatting with each other. They're also completely oblivious to the fact that there's a live stream going on.
Yeah, possibly we're poorly positioned in the same position where the athletes come off the stage.
Well, we want to make sure that we're right under Mont Blanc. That's why we're here.
That's true.
Not going to be giving that up shortly.
No, so the athletes can give their position up. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hans struggling to see if it's a heel or a toe through this section, but one of the taller climbers still got bent legs through there. No issue so far. Strong on the lock-off. You can see the feet not really coming off at all there, which is potentially a good sign, but also a sign of potential over-gripping. using too much body tension when it's not necessary, but we'll see if that's just his style or he's actually kind of just powering out too early. Let's see. But 4th in the European Championships, this guy's obviously no slouch. Come on, Hans. Smooth work with the clips. Great work, and let's see what he can make of this section. We need to come up with a name for this hold. I'm calling it a bowl, but it's kind of bulbous, but no issue, straight through. Really quick on the reading of that sequence. Obviously was predetermined through there. No issue, so we're going to see another athlete heading into the top third of the wall. Come on, Hans.
Not finding that knee bar rest like Jan did. We'll see if he's recovered enough to make a good go at the top section.
You do wonder if Jan's going to be kicking himself later on. You know, he did manage to get that knee bar, but didn't kind of get much further. Oh, and you could see there, you could see the slight hesitation. That is kind of the second really hard move on the route, really off balance. You know, in technical speak, in England anyway, we'd say that's a really barn door kind of move.
Yeah, we'd say that too.
Just got to try and control the barn door, but you can see the tick marks on the hold that he was going for. That indicates, you know, the route set's put that on there because it's a really blind move. It's really hard to see where that hold is, and you could just see slight hesitation.
And I think he was just so tired. His upper body was so tired from the rest of the route. He just couldn't hold the barn door.
We have another look at Hans on the earlier dyno on the route as we will go to a cleaning break. So that means the route setters jump in and give the holds a quick brush. Gives us an opportunity to have a look at this move where Hans dropped it. He just kind of just lined up. There wasn't really any hesitation in terms of the speed, actually. I thought there was initially live, but when you look at it back, it was just a hard move, and he just wasn't.
Oh,
just didn't happen.
There we go. The sunset on Mont Blanc.
Not too bad.
It looks okay here, I guess.
Yeah, it's all right. So we have a look at the scores then. In the men's semi-final here in Chamonix, first place currently sitting at the top. We have Yuval Shemla, 34. And we should have another athlete in there,
Marcello Bombardi should be up there.
Yeah, I think he's still high-fiving the crowd, so he's not actually had a chance to get his scorecard in. We will bring you updated results when we have them.
Oh, there we go.
There he is. People in the production room got the headsets on, they're hearing us. So Marcello, 36 plus, so 2 moves further than Yuval. Kokoro, Fuji, 32. Jan Hoya still sitting in 4th position, even though he wasn't happy with his run on the route. Swedish athlete we just saw. Good innings. Hans Puben looking good. Well done, Hans.
And
just behind him then Piotr Szab from Poland. Down at the bottom list, unfortunately, to see it was actually the first athlete who came out. He was qualified in last, currently still sitting in last. The sort of Spanish legend Ramon Julian Plank. Definitely no finals for him this time.
But he stuck that dyno at the beginning, which we were a little worried about.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, like he's obviously, like you said earlier, if he's been working on them. And we now have a interview whilst the holds are being cleaned.
Yes, very special guest here. I know it's a men's semi-final, but Janja Garmret made the mistake of sitting far too close to the camera, so I brought her in. Janja, you won here in Chamonix last year. What makes this event so special?
Yeah, well, my first competition was Chamonix 2 years ago, European Championship, so it was something special from the beginning. I was second there, so a lot of people, good atmosphere, so I like it since the beginning.
And you climbed 2 routes this morning in the qualifiers, so did the men. Do you think fatigue is a big problem, and do you think that it's slightly easier for the women to climb tomorrow, or is it harder to do a semi in the final in the same day?
Yeah, I think that's something new. I asked some boys, and they all said it's like really exhausting to have like 3 routes in one day. So yeah, I think women have a lot more easier. So it will be fun tomorrow.
Just a quick word on your performance. How were you feeling today? You looked in great form, the same in Villars.
Yeah, I felt really good. Maybe a bit shaky at the beginning because like on every competition you don't feel like you are a bit nervous. So, but yeah, I felt good. So we will see tomorrow.
And do you feel more nervous being here in Chamonix with the huge crowd and all the history, or is it just another World Cup in your head?
Yeah, well, it is another World Cup, but it's something special, as I said. Maybe, yeah, I'm always a bit nervous before a climb or before a comp, but yeah, I really enjoy it.
And you have to watch Domen climb later. How do you feel when you watch him? Do you get nervous, or you just leave him and he does his thing?
I'm a lot more nervous when he's climbing than when I'm climbing. So, yeah, I hope he does well. And yeah, we'll see.
All right, we'll let you get back to relaxing, and good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Janja there, and what a kind of situation in the women's lead qualification round. 4 women topping both routes, so we have a 4-way tie heading into the semi-final round. So we'll see tomorrow morning how the women get on, but we have a short break in the action here in the town centre of Chamonix at the foothills of the legendary Mont Blanc, as we have had 13 climbers out of 26. That means we are in a cleaning rotation. So it's everybody's opportunity to quickly run and get a cup of tea at home, get the biscuits out, and get set for an incredible evening with 13 more athletes still to come in this semi-finals here in Chamonix. And you can see the crowd sticking around. They love the action, even in the midweek here. I was told by somebody once that nobody has a job in Chamonix, so they're all out in action. Come to see the climbing as we have a look through some of the earlier highlights. This was Ramon's Julian Plank come out first. Definitely the shortest competitor in the semi-finals, and you can see the way he had to stretch the left hand, hit it 1-2. It was a bit of a double dyno for him. 1-2 catch, and this is where he lost it. The toe went, tension left him, and Ramon stretched through that section. I wouldn't say it was a particularly reachy move, but he just had to go with a bit more confidence to the left hand. Wasn't meant to be. Another unfortunate result for Ramon. The lead World Cups, and this is the big man Jan Hoya. This is him high up on the wall.
Hi Mike, just thought I'd come and say hello in the commentary box. Frantic down the front in Chamonix. The crowd never ceases to amaze me here. It's worth remembering this is the semi-final and the men's semi-final. We've got the women's semi-final again tomorrow, and the big final, the famous Chamonix final at the foot of Mont Blanc. But the atmosphere down the front is superb.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. You know, just to, like I said, a weekday, getting late into the evening, people in this town are just so psyched for their climbing.
And we often get bad weather in Chamonix. If you've ever lived here or tried to come on a climbing trip, you'd be familiar with that. There is still a good climate, but we do get slightly more rain than average across the Alps. And I'm very pleased to say that Mont Blanc is looking resplendent in the sunset, and it's a perfect evening here. We had some heavy cloud earlier on, but cleared up.
Charlie, just as we're having a look back at some of the replays of the semi-finals so far, great face there on that move.
This was unbelievable, because where I'm positioned, you can probably tell from the interviews, is right underneath the wall, and you could tell that Yuval was not amazingly keen to commit to that move, but when he went, he really went, and that's the key to doing it. You can be nervous and you can feel slightly hesitant, but if that translates into action, that hesitancy is scuppered. And he really, I could see he was lining up for it and wasn't that keen, but when he went, he really went, and what a reward he got.
Yeah, and talking of rewards, the Marcello Bombardi here has certainly got the reward from the crowd with his effort on this route. Staggering, he was running around the arena doing high fives with everybody in the crowd.
Yeah, he was a happy man. The athletes have to walk off the stage, so as you look at the wall, the right-hand side, they walk off to the right, and then they've created a corridor that kind of goes through the crowd, and the whole point is that the crowd get to high-five the athletes and everything. And Marcello Bombardi, I think he went out of the corridor and walked through the crowd and high-fived everyone he'd missed at the front. He was absolutely over the moon.
Just as we see the cleaner of the routes coming down from the wall, we'll be shortly continuing on with the action. I want to talk to you about this move, not this one that we're seeing here with the dyno, but slightly later on we've seen a lot of athletes, we've talked about it a lot with Alana, the sort of matching this ball and rolling over the right hand. We've seen a lot of athletes struggling with going up the left hand. What do you think? You saw them down the front during the observation. Did there seem to be any indicators to the sequence they were going to be using there?
It was really hard to tell, actually, because the athletes, as I mentioned, were completely on their own. Nobody was really talking to each other. Also not helped by the fact that we were trying to do an interview while the athletes were barging into us. But it didn't seem like they were particularly concentrating on that move. And from watching observation, I'm not 100% that the athletes all identified that as a super hard move.
Yeah, you do wonder if it's one of those moves that they read from the ground and thought, yeah, this is going to be fine. It's quite obvious what to do when you get there, the big holds. But as soon as they get there, they get wrestling with those slopey sort of jugs in the roof, and they're out of there.
And that is the on-site element. I know these aren't on-site routes. They get an observation period, but there's still an element of needing to figure it out when you get there. And I think that move's a classic example of that they had a look from the ground, and as I say, possibly from their body language, didn't think it was going to be one of the cruxes. It's since proved to be so, and whoever coped with it best on the hoof, if you like, on the go, has come out on top.
So, as you can see there, it's Marcello Bombardi leading the way as the 14th athlete comes onto the stage. We continue here in Chamonix with Yuki Hada from Japan, the first athlete after the cleaning break.
And Mike, I'm going to head back down to the front, and I'll pass you back to Alana.
Good luck out there, Charlie, in the scrum that is the Chamonix crowd. Ilana, welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
So Yuki Hada just takes his time. Ilana, you might know this. I believe it's 40 seconds that they have to come out and just remember the route. So obviously they've been back there, what now, close to an hour. So they have 40 seconds just to reconfigure the route.
Yep. 40 seconds plus their 6 minutes to climb.
So Yuki, world ranked 20th, was actually 8th in Crange last year, we believe. So let's see what the Japanese can do. And obviously we mentioned it time and time again, especially if you've been following us on the bouldering streams. It's been Team Japan all the way this year. Only 3 Japanese athletes got through in the leading, I believe.
4, it looks like.
Quick maths, 4 athletes. 4 Japanese got through. And what do you think? Do you think that's a good result for them in the lead, or average?
To be honest, I don't really remember what the semifinals were like last year for the Japanese. Obviously, their bouldering teams are incredibly dominant, and I think this is just the start of seeing where their lead teams are going.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. I think this is the start of things to come for Team Japan. They've obviously got an incredible team set up, and they're just starting to dominate. And I think, with the new style of kind of routes, I don't really like to call it a new style, but more dynamic moves in the routes, you kind of got to think that Team Japan's going to be on form pretty soon as Yuki lines up for the jump. Fine work so far for the Japanese athlete. That sort of style of move is exactly up their street. Team Japan really strong on that style, really sort of no hesitation, fast moving, quick pace.
Absolutely.
The tunes in the background then, the DJ's ramping it up for the Japanese athlete. Yuki has a look at this section, goes for the heel method, finds an opportunity to chalk up, which, considering how difficult we saw that section earlier, is really, really good. So Japanese athlete Yuki Hada looking strong so far. Let's see how he gets on this blind move. Once again, no issues, and he's really enjoying the right heel hooks.
Yes, must be pretty strong on those.
So the Japanese athlete enjoying the heel hooks, and it's definitely helping him take some weight off the arms. You can see him chalking up through this hard section. Another cut loose move, and I tell you what, that foothold he's got his left foot on may be big, but it's kind of sloping off, so it's not as good as you may want.
I think there's a small jib on it actually to make it a little bit better.
So this is the section that we talked about, seeing a lot of athletes struggling with the sequence. Let's see what his method is. He seems to be eyeing it with the left hand. He's gone with the left hand, but he's not fallen off. Come on, Yuki.
And
nicely done.
So strong to be able to move through that.
Incredible body tension, I think, to be able to go up with the left hand there and just be able to raise the feet up. First athlete we see go with the left arm and not fall off. This new beta here.
Very strong athletes also try that Befall.
Yuki Hada then is so powerful through this early section. Let's hope he can continue. Hope he has not powering out. That's where we lost the last athlete, Hans Puben. Let's see what Yuki can do now. Come on.
He does not look like he's powering out yet. Looks like he's got a lot of fight left.
So hard to tell sometimes with the athletes. They just look so solid until they're off. But like you say, Yuki looking really good here, and lots of shouts of Gamba coming from the Team Japan and the coaches in the crowd here in Chamonix.
That's such a nice part about Team Japan. They're all so supportive of each other. They're huge competitors with each other, but they're so supportive.
So Yuki gets his match on, gets up to that volume with his left hand. Quite a good hold. He uses the opportunity to take on some chalk. Another powerful move. Oh, just short. Has another look. Oh. Second time lucky. Gets the lock off. Struggles with the feet as we saw earlier athletes. Oh. Couple of moves short there of the leader, but a good burn.
Falls the same place we saw the Yuval fall.
Will it be enough for Yuki Hada with plenty of athletes still to come out and some very, very big names still to come. I think it's going to be really interesting, this route, actually. We're starting to see some people getting really high, but will we see a top? I don't know. I would like to think so.
I think so. I've still got faith.
Faith in the climbers to do it. They always do surprise us, so we'll see. But that was a great effort from Yuki, and you could see the way he fired up once, kind of had a second think, right, I've got to go for it properly this time. Hit it, but was too short. There's nothing worse than being stretched on an undercut with bad feet.
Yep, that's...
If you can reel in an undercut whilst you're stretched out, you're going well. It's just that's not the position you want to be at the top of the wall here in Chamonix when you're totally powering out. So it's a good effort. We have a couple of Japanese athletes still to come with Mashiro Higuchi and Kichiro Korenga, so maybe there's still plenty to come from Team Japan. And our next athlete out, the competition moves swiftly on. It's Fedor Samilov.
We saw him last week come third in Villar with an amazing performance in semifinals, just cruising past a move that stopped every other competitor in their tracks. And qualifying first into finals, that is.
Yeah, I was really excited to watch the Villars final and just to see this guy in action. Oh, no! That is a shocker. Oh,
I blinked and I didn't even see it. Oh, my
oh,
goodness.
that's a real shame. And you can see the frustration. The crowd give him some support, but oh my word, I've not seen that in a Lead World Cup for many, many years. Went to fire up, foot slipped, out of there. Oh, it's really, really tough. To be honest, you know, he's going to be kicking himself. No one's going to be more embarrassed than himself in that situation. But that's the game. Lead climbing, one go and you're out.
The live stream just missed it, but when he came down, he gave himself a little smack in the face.
Yeah, tell you what, he nearly hit himself on the foothold that he came off as well. He sort of went up with so much power, and what an upset here in Chamonix to see one of the potential favourites for a final, Fedor Samilov, walking off the stage with only one move basically in the bank. Ilana, when was the last time you've seen something like that?
I can't even remember. I think I block it from my memory because it's so painful for those people.
Just before we start with the next athlete, we have an interview with our jury president here in Chamonix.
Matthias, our jury president, how is your evening going so far? It seems pretty trouble-free.
Hi. Yeah, it's really nice. It's great. Everything runs smoothly. So if it stays like this, we'll be really happy with the competition.
And for people that aren't familiar with the IFSC, what does a jury president do at a World Cup?
The jury president takes care that the competition runs in a fair way, according to all the rules. And of course, we have to coordinate many things from the route judges, IFSC judge, to climbers. Then, of course, if you have an appeal, we deal with it. So quite many things in backstage, but mainly we should take care that the competition is really fair.
Well, I hope you continue to have a stress-free evening and enjoy this competition.
Thanks very much. Hope everyone enjoys competition live too.
So our next athlete is on the stage, Loic Timmermans from Belgium. And just as we're trying to recover from Fedor Samilov's effort there, I mean, it's a real shame for him, such a young athlete. Well, you know, he's only done a couple of World Cups. Got to feel for the guy out there. You know, he's an incredible athlete, and no doubt he'll be back to fight another day.
Absolutely. It just, I know that wasn't the best that he could have done, so it just, you know, it hurts me as well.
Yeah, it's a real shame, to be honest. So I was really looking forward to seeing, but
yes,
like I said, incredible talent. So no doubt he'll be back and fighting fit.
Yeah, for sure.
Loic Timmerman then works through the earlier section of this route. Loic actually joined Charlie for the co-commentary out in Villars because he missed the final by one spot. Unfortunately him, but is the world 19th.
No, he came 21st.
Excuse me, yeah.
He missed by more than one spot, but he made semis.
One spot plus quite a few spots.
Yes.
But he's obviously no slouch, so let's see what he can do. He's one of the taller athletes here, actually. Quite a big guy, big arms, that's for sure. A lot of power.
When you're standing next to him, though, he doesn't look quite as big as Jorg or Jan, but he is sneakily tall.
Sneakily tall and not so sneakily strong. This guy's so strong. Looking confident through here. There goes for the high feet. Opts for the right foot and the straight left arm. Great technique for conserving power, but it's only a one-handed rest. Like I said before, there's not too many two-handed rests available on this route at the same time. So smooth and controlled so far for Loic. And we all know what's coming up next, this crux section. Looking good so far. Opts for the lock-off and the chalk. He's probably read this as a hard section. Opts to leave the left foot off for now. Doesn't use it at all through that hard section, but so solid through there.
Doesn't struggle at all.
And we're starting to see some of the stronger athletes now coming through. Not having so many issues on that earlier section like we saw some of the athletes at the start of the broadcast here tonight. So Loic seems to like the kind of locked off fashion of resting. Traditionally not the most efficient way of going, but depending on the shape and the size of the hold, it's probably his only option up there. Does have a bit of a knee bar like Jan Hoya did, so we can see that he is a taller athlete, but this is a really hard move now. Fires across. No issues for Loic Timmermans so far. Looking really strong, really composed. Crowd, bit of a crowd favourite, this guy. Come on, Loic. Gives a great perspective there of how steep this section is as it climbs from left to right through the steepest section of the wall here, through the volumes. Great holds here, supplied by Expression and Cheetah. Lots of volumes, lots of new holds, like we said, so the athlete's a fresh challenge. And he's making great use of this rest here, Elena.
Which we haven't really seen. A couple athletes have made pretty good use of it.
He's looking in fine form here at the moment, Loic Timmermans. Come on, can we see a new high point? Resting his way through sections that others have struggled on. Still plenty of time for Loic, come on. You can hear the screams of Ale in the background. This is fine work now.
Gets that undercling.
Can we see a new high point? So
solid.
Come on. He's looking good. Finds that clip where we saw.
The first one to get that clip. Yeah.
Yeah, gets it. And we saw earlier Yuval Schemmler struggle with that clip. But this is where Loic's actually resting where others have struggled and fell. Come on now, Loic. Can we see a top here in the men's semi-final in Chamonix? Needs some options with the feet. He's going to fire for it. Oh!
Such a precise little pocket.
Exactly what you were saying earlier, Eleni. It looked like he needed to find some options for the feet, some sort of toe hook or heel hook on the left side.
It's so high, though.
Yeah, and if he puts something in, it may help him with that next move, but it's going to be getting out of there. I think it's going to come down to pure power on the right arm. You can see skittering with the right foot and the left to try and find some purchase.
Yeah.
And he went in, not deep enough, straight out of there. But there's a brilliant burn from Loic Timmermans, and like I said earlier, we're starting to see some action now on the head wall here, the men's semi-final. And out next we will have the American young man Sean Bailey, who I'm particularly looking forward to seeing 8th in the last World Cup in Villars, and a bit of a legend on the scene already at such a young age.
It'd be great to see him make a final in a town other than Villars.
Well, there's no reason why it couldn't be here in Chamonix on the form that we saw in Switzerland.
Exactly.
So the Team USA fans are out in force tonight. You can hear them over the headset as we wait for Sean Bailey. You can see him coming from the isolation zone. Here he is. Looked on good form earlier in the qualification. One of 22 climbers with 2 tops. As you can start to see the results at the top there. Loic Timmermans will be joining Marcelo Bombardi in the high rankings. There we are, 36 plus. Yuki Hardo behind him, great burn, 3rd place, currently sitting with 34 plus. And Yuval Schellmer also in 3rd with 34 plus. So we've actually got some ties currently in the podium positions or the finalist position. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens later on in the semis, whether that kind of plays a key, and hopefully we don't have to go back to countback.
Yeah, hope so. But it'll be hard because everybody now has topped both qualifiers, so.
Yeah, that's right. It's a real tough job now for the route setters to get the splits. We've seen people within a couple of moves of the top. We've still got 8 climbers to go, I believe. So as we have a look at Sean Bailey on the wall, super light frame, super fit, young American, on form currently, certainly on form with his interviews anyway. It's great for an interview, this guy. Hopefully we'll get a touch of him later on, but opting to chill out on the left hand side of this jump at the moment, but lines it up now. Come on, Sean. Great work on the early dyno. So Sean Bailey then starting the fight through the steep section. A lot of tension needed on these next moves, and you've got to be really comfortable on hill hooks and just making sure that the feet don't slip. I should
or
say.
Toe hooks.
Hill hooks, toe hooks, absolutely. We've seen multiple hills and multiple toes. Some people have a preference on hills, some people have a preference on toes. I know myself. Try and stay away from a toe hook wherever possible. Always go for a hill. But no such issues for Sean Bailey as he cuts loose, heads to that small foothold, and great work there. Goes for the right foot through. That's what we saw Loic Timmermans doing, and manufacturing a rest here in the steep.
That was a pretty committing. I think he let go of his right hand before his right foot had fully hit that hold.
I think that's a sign of a confident athlete.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Sean Bailey then making something out of these holds for a bit of a rest. You can see he's starting to breathe harder now onto this next section.
See how he reads this next move.
The way we saw Kokoro doing this rollover move just off the top, this is the way Loic did it as well, leaving the left foot off.
There we go, yeah.
Gets the rollover. Oh
no!
Right sequence, but wrong placement on the hold.
Yeah.
Not sure what his intention was there.
Didn't look for the flip on the hold.
Ah, it's a real shame. I was really looking forward to seeing Sean higher up in the route, but it wasn't meant to be tonight. Ah, that was really tough. He just went over the right hand. That's we've seen quite a few successes in that method, but didn't go for the undercut. Went to the top of the wall, and we have Loic Timmermans down at the wall with Charlie.
Just surprised.
Yeah, Loic, we've just seen you at the top of the route. Talk us through that last move. You said you were slightly hesitant about how to do it.
Yeah, well, actually, the last move I knew it would be a hard one. So when I was reading the route, I was thinking maybe I can go shoulder. I know it would be impossible after that, but I know this move could be really important. And then I decided to take the underclink anyway. And the move was possible, but I didn't stick it. But it was nice.
You seem very disappointed in Vilar. Are you happy with how Chamonix has gone?
Well, actually, I knew I was in shape already in Campitello, already in Vilar, and now it's just about timing and ride the right time. And I hope this one is a good time.
Well, it was an amazing effort, awesome fight, and really good to watch you. And hopefully we can see you climbing in the final instead of being in the box with us.
Fingers crossed.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It really was a great bird from Loic Timmermans, and good to hear from him as we continue the competition with the Korean athlete Hanwol Kim. As we said earlier, another athlete with 2 tops in the qualification round, and we're definitely seeing people falling now. The route setters have put on a great challenge for the athletes in the semi-final round. They've obviously ramped up the difficulty massively, Alana.
No tops as of yet.
No tops as of yet, but we're predicting some. Not going to put our necks on the line too much as to how many, but with the likes of Sebastian Halang, Sean McCall, Stefano Gascolfi, Ramon de Grange, Doman Skofic still to come.
I know who I would want to get the one top, you know?
Surely not biased towards the Canadian athletes.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all. We've actually agreed we're going to mute Ilana's microphone when Sean McCall comes out to save everybody ears at home. So Hanwol starts his campaign on what is a savagely difficult semi-final route here, but this is a lead World Cup semi-final. We expect it to be hard all the way. Good route as well. Good show for the crowd. Really builds after the initial dyno here. And we've not seen anybody dropping that dyno, which is good.
Yes. It's really good.
Obviously, we saw an unfortunate incident with Fedir Samilov. You know, that basically could happen to anybody. An early fall, everyone else has progressed past this dyno. But as we said before, we know it ramps up through here. Men's results, Loic Timmermans currently sitting in joint first with Marcello Bombardi. They're the guys to beat at the moment.
I think they came within 3 moves of the top, so...
Yeah, I can't help but thinking those 3 moves are going to be really difficult though. These routes tend to just build in difficulty from the first move to the last.
For sure.
It's always a fight right to the very end. There's no, generally speaking, there's no kind of gimmies towards the end. There's no kind of just jugs to get your way to the top.
No nothing
chance.
that you would have a chance to rest on near the top.
Absolutely, that's the game. Harder and harder as the route goes on. That's the style of route setting we tend to see in competitions. As Hanwol Kim, so far so good for this Korean athlete. Looking solid through the red volume section. Once again trying to manufacture a rest there, but you can see his right arm still bent and locked off when he's trying to rest his left, so he's not going to be getting much back there.
You know, sometimes you just take what you can get.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the athlete's style as well, whether they can, if they're a sort of resistance athlete where they can find a quick recovery. You know, we've seen some of the other athletes like Jorg Verhoeven and Jan Hoya just prefer to sprint it out. Sean McCall's an example of that. Rarely rests on the route. Just there's 2 rests as far as he's concerned. One's on the ground and one's back on the ground after he's finished.
For sure. He always tells me to climb faster, faster, faster. It's all about climbing faster.
Well, it certainly works for him, and he's going to be coming out qualified in 4th. Obviously, he was joint with everybody else, but counting back with his world rankings, Sean McCall to come later then as Hanwol.
Oh no!
And once again, we're seeing athletes going to the wrong section of that hold. Elana, I'm starting to think that with a slight build-up of chalk on there, it might be sending the climbers into a false sense of security on that hold.
I think he also didn't try to go for the undercut. I think that was the issue.
Well, you see on that hold there, you can just about see it under the red volume that there is a chalk build-up on top of that hold.
I don't think it's big enough to make that much of a difference. I think that the athletes are just misreading the sequence, and that's the issue.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying, is that the chalk is building up, which means that they're not seeing the undercut.
See, yeah.
Sorry, bad explanation. I was too excited. So
sorry, I should have just known what you were saying.
So there's a good effort from Hanwol, but realistically it's not going to be enough. 8 climbers go through to the final, and we have another Italian joining us next, Francesco Vettorata.
Another good Italian name.
Yeah, some strong names in the semi-finals tonight, keeping us on our toes in the commentary box.
Yeah, apologies again for the Spanish names.
So Francesco, 22nd out in Villars, so this is his 2nd semi-final this year. World ranked 13th, 25th at the European Championships, so this guy's on pretty good form. Let's see if he can make his way through to the finals as he starts his campaign here in Chamonix, under the foothills of Mont Blanc. Incredible wall here for a climbing competition. And some great climbing so far tonight. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Yes, it has.
So Francesco works his way through the early section. No real issues with this bit so far tonight. Slow and steady to start the race, I think, is the kind of the way that the route setters have set it up.
They know that the crowd likes to see people get higher rather than fall lower, so.
Yeah, we'll try not to mention the earlier incident for Fedir's sake.
Well, I think you did just that.
So the Italian lining up the dyno. Feet set. Classic dyno this. Double catch off big feet, big hands. A nice move. Good move for the crowd.
Not hard, but showy.
Yeah, I think that's a good style this time in the competition. Quite low down.
Absolutely.
And it kind of, I think it's a psychological dyno more than a difficult dyno.
Yeah.
So it's just, if you hesitate, you're going to start to sort of burn energy. So opting for the toe hook, and being a taller climber, manages to manufacture a slight rest there.
Oh, that's a aggressive cut loose.
Yeah, big release. That's the thing. When you get your toe in, it's all about the release, making sure your hands are set enough to hold the swing. It's good to put it in, but it's taking it out sometimes on those swings that can be a real issue. But Francesco looking pretty good here, looking pretty composed, but this is kind of the theme through this section of the route.
He's finding quite a few little rests here.
Francesco actually seems to have a fan club somewhere out there in the crowd. I can hear them chanting his name. Might be able to pick that up over the headset.
There's a pretty big Italian contingent here, so...
Yeah, the Italians definitely like their sport climbing, lead climbing events, and here we go. It looks like he's lining it up for the crossover, struggling but sticks it. It's a good effort. You can see him working hard there. Oh, but as soon as he found that foot, got his foot back on, his composure came back to him. He thought he could have been off for a second there.
Yeah, I was a little worried.
Seems to be
held it together.
A real stopper move for a few of the athletes. One of the stopping points, we've seen a few of the athletes falling off there. But once they get through, they seem to make pretty decent progress for quite a few more moves. So the route eases off slightly through here. Oh, but not there, it doesn't. Great effort. Francesco, good work. The feet cutting again. He's going to be burning energy through there. Francesco Vetterata then looking pretty good here. Be challenging for a finals position. Seems to have got his hands in a bit of a tangle with his legs. Not quite sure to put his knee on the inside or the outside of his arm. There we go. Drops it on the outside. That will help.
Looking for a knee bar there.
Searching for anything at this stage to help him get some recovery.
He wants to get that clip, I see.
It looks like he may have dropped a knee in there. We'll see from a different angle potentially.
Maybe not quite. I think it's still...
It's hovering.
Yeah.
It's hovering a knee in, but it looks like he's getting some decent recovery here. He's actually, I think he's resting his knee on his hand. That's a classic sport climber's trick for a recovery. So the crowd get right behind him now. This is a hard move. Another toe hook needed. Definitely a lot of tension in these men's routes.
He likes his toe hooks.
Doing well on the toe hooks here. Francesco, come on. He's got to go up to the left-hand volume. That's a foothold he's gone up there so far. He's burnt an effort and he's still looking at the right hand. I do hope he's reading the sequence correct here and he's in real trouble.
Yeah, he's taking his feet out of those low footholds, which are key to making it to the next hold.
The elbows are up. Oh, and he's out of there. That was kind of a slow death, unfortunately, for Francesco there. Stalled out, trying to get that clip. That's where we saw earlier athletes struggling. David Fernberg getting in a bit of a mix-up with his clips there. And there, Francesco Vetterata just couldn't get it together through that section. I think he burnt some energy there, Ilana, going up to the wrong hold, going up to the foot hold, and then needed to go left but run out of energy.
It was Kokoro, actually, that had the little scuffle with the clip there, not Francesco, or not David. And next we'll be seeing another Japanese climber, our third of the evening, Masahiro Higuchi. He came 32nd last week in Villar.
So 32nd, he's obviously improved on his result from last weekend already by coming through joint first with 22 other people. It's not often you say that in a lead World Cup.
No, or any World Cup, or any competition really.
Yeah, so the route setters earlier in the qualification round, were obviously super nervous. We did count at one point halfway through the qualification, there could have been 29 people who could have topped two routes.
Wow.
Obviously they managed to get it sorted, scraped through they got the 26 that they needed through without 26 full top outs.
Yeah, if there had been 29 double tops, then they would have had to take all 29 to semis, which is 3 more than they should have in a semifinal.
We would have been in for a long evening.
Oh, yeah.
So Masahiro Higuchi starts his campaign for Team Japan. Here in Chamonix, you can really see the light dropping down. We're into the spotlight here in the atmosphere. Keeps building here in Chamonix. Huge crowd. Absolutely awesome to see for a World Cup semi-final.
Yeah, everyone's so psyched to watch this. It's awesome.
It's literally like everybody who lives in Chamonix is a climber.
Well, I mean, how could you not be?
It's like when you visit Arco in Italy. We'll be there later on in the year with the IFSC Roadshow. That's another town full of climbers. Every shop's a climbing shop. It's an absolute dream for any climber. So Mashiro's actually made 4 finals before, so he's going to be no stranger to a good semi-finals performance. So let's see if this route suits his style. Oh, no. Just as I say that, we lose our first climber on the dyno. A real upset there. I was just saying how he's made 4 finals before and he won't be making a finals tomorrow. A real shame there to lose someone on the jump.
Missed the screw-on hold onto that volume.
Let's just have another look, see what went wrong here. Lines it up nicely. Hits the 1-2, but just seemed to just get too much outswing. I think the left hand must have not quite hit the hold properly. Off he goes. That's a real upset there for Mashiro.
Not happy.
Going to be kicking his chalk bag across the arena. Really, really upset, and rightly so. You know, we've talked about this dyno a lot tonight. We've said that we've not lost any climbers, but to see someone drop it is still surprising.
Yeah, painful.
Well, let's see. The next athlete out is another Japanese. It's Koichiro Karenga. Let's hope we don't see the similar upset on the dyno. He would have known that his compatriot Mashiro Higuchi's just had a tussle with that lower section. And, you know, he's been in the isolation. He's not going to have seen exactly what's happened there, but he's going to know it didn't end too well because he came back to the isolation zone pretty swiftly.
Oh, I don't think he went back into isolation, but I think that he knows that his time went pretty quickly. You probably heard him scream.
Well, the anguished screams from the crowd as well when someone falls off early. It's a real shame.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that as an athlete.
So world rank number 10th, Koichiro from Japan starts his campaign. Been climbing on the World Cup circuit for over 5 years, so he's no stranger to the competitions.
He's made 1 final before in Haiyang in 2014.
Well, last time I mentioned someone did a finals, which was the last athlete, they fell off, so we'll try and keep that quiet for a minute.
All right, how about I mention it this time and
yeah,
you keep quiet.
Maybe I'm the bad luck for these climbers.
We'll see.
So come on, Koichiro. Let's start to see some action at the top of the wall. 5 climbers still to come out after this athlete. Some heavy hitters still to come. Really looking forward to seeing a potential top here later on. Here we go then. Lines up the jump.
Nice.
Oh, no issues this time. I think the Japanese athletes tend to be on the shorter side, and he, you know, as we saw with Mashiro, kind of has to put in quite a lot of power to get the height on that move. It's not seemed to help, been a disadvantage for some of the shorter athletes, but I think, you know, it is a distance jump at the end of the day. It's not a far one. It's less of a timing dyno, more of a distance jump, and you know, you can't help but think that the smaller you are, the more power is required there.
So actually, because we're less than 8 athletes away from the end of the semi-final round, we have 2 athletes who have already qualified for the finals, Marcello and Loic. So
yeah, and what good people to have in the final. They put on a great show.
They absolutely did, yeah.
Great athletes to have in tomorrow night's final. You can catch that live here from Chamonix at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So Koichiro Karenga just taking time through this section. We can really see the chalk build up on that hold. That's as we work later on through the competition. You've got to think on a hard move like this, it's going to be affecting the conditions on that hold. Finds the wrap with the left hand, and chalk or no chalk on that hold.
Nice.
No issues for Koichiro, looking so strong through that move. That was really impressive.
Reads the undercling correctly the first time.
Koichiro seems to have a slightly more measured style than we've seen with some of the earlier athletes. He's sort of a bit slower, a bit more controlled, more of a route climbing specialist. 10th out in Villars, so this guy is definitely capable of making a top 10 at least, if not finals, and if he carries on like this, he's putting himself in a great position because he's looking so solid. And look at the comfort there.
Oh, wow.
Feed off canvassing. That was incredible from Koichiro Karenga. Team Japan looking good here. Crowd really appreciate that. Nothing cooler than a foot off move halfway up the route.
And getting that clip with ease, unlike his compatriot Kokoro.
So another cut loose. This guy's looking super solid at the moment. Crowd's really behind him now. Come on.
He looks so comfortable up there. Really impressive after the powerful moves he's done.
But we've seen the route really build from this point onwards. The feet start to become poorer and poorer as Kokoro looks for the clip. We've seen one athlete struggle with this already. Come on.
Come on, Kokoro.
Looks good on the left foot. Will he find some options? Can he get through this hard move? Oh! That will put him in joint first position.
And also putting him through to the finals.
Well, can't be too upset with that, but puts him up there with Marcello Bombardi and Loic Timmermans also falling at 36 plus.
And that'll be his second final ever, I believe.
Great weekend's work. Oh, weekdays work, I should say. It's not even the weekend.
Yeah.
Great weekdays, evenings work for the Japanese athlete. Kochiro's got to be happy with that. He probably doesn't know at this stage that he's made it through to the finals, but I'm sure the coach will be letting him know soon enough.
Oh, yeah. As soon as he walks through the crowd, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that was a great effort. And once again, we've seen an athlete struggle on that lock-off move, and I just hope that we can see someone control that right hand, get the crossover, and I think the crowd will go absolutely wild if someone hits that.
Yeah.
So 5 athletes left to come out. Sebastian Helenke will be next from Team Germany, 21-year-old, 7th overall in 2015, and so many great results over the years, and
yes,
the best hair in lead climbing. Here he comes.
Debatably the best hair in the IFSC, all of the IFSC circuits.
He's a great character and an incredibly strong athlete, really kind of coming back on form here this weekend. 15th in the last World Cup, like we said, which was potential for him a disappointing result. You know, we're used to seeing Sebastian Helenke in finals, and he's really going to be gunning for it here tonight. He's so psyched for this. We saw in the qualification highlights interview just kind of how much he enjoyed feeling good on the wall again, feeling the fitness. So hard for athletes to stay consistently fit and strong throughout the years of climbing, the years of training. So it's inevitable that it do go up and down a bit, but it's like I said, it's great to see him back on form. He's a great guy to have here in action here in Chamonix. As you can see the results coming across the top of your screen. It's good to see we currently have a 3-way tie. Marcello Bombardi, Kochiro Karenga, who we just saw from Team Japan, and Loic Timmermans all tied with 36 plus. Next climber down, Yuki Hada, 34 plus behind him, joint with Yovel Shemla. We believe all of those top guys are through to the finals.
Nice.
Sebastian Helenke then, no issues with the dyno again.
I started getting nervous watching people do the dyno again after.
Yeah, I was nervous before the competition, and then it kind of went away when people started successfully doing it time and time again. But then to see someone fall was, the nerves get back on every time someone gets there. And Sebastian Helenke really wears his heart on his sleeve, and just kind of you can really see the emotion in his face every move that he's on. It's great to see those close-ups. You can really see him kind of thinking about this next move. Takes a bit of a rest as the wind picks up here in Chamonix. We're obviously outside. There's a good breeze blowing through. Top conditions for hard sports climbing.
Keeps your hands nice and cool. The friction's better.
I'd say the conditions has been relatively consistent throughout this semi-final round, so there can't be too many complaints from the athletes as to changing conditions.
Yeah.
Great nights climbing lined up for us with a few athletes still to come. We will decide who goes through to tomorrow night's final. Just off to our right, you may be able to hear through the headsets, but it's Team Japan chatting through their successes on the route just a minute ago. Smiles all around as they pack up their kit. Sebastian Helenke then onto this section, looking so solid at the moment. Again, nervous wait to see how he tackles this next section. See how steep the was. Oh no!
Oh no!
The anguish screams from everybody. Sebastian Helenke is out of the race. Oh man, I don't know what happened there, Ilan. He just seemed to take just a slight slip.
I mean, the footholds up there are pretty poor.
Oh, I can see. It's just off camera. Let's just have another look then. What happened here? He was looking so composed, just got the right method dialed. You could see him searching for the good bit of the left hand, but then
Both
Boom.
hands just popped.
I mean, Alana, we've talked about the chalk build-up on that hole. Do you think it's having an issue there?
It could be.
So Sebastian, you can see he's visibly upset and can't get his knot undone. He's just, yeah, I mean, I really feel for him. So another upset here in the semi-finals in Chamonix. See, the shoes have been discarded. Another climber not happy.
So that actually puts through 2 more competitors into the finals. And we're going to have a possibly 9 competitor final.
Yeah, so we've still got a few athletes still to come, so we'll see if we're going to have any fresh names on that list. But currently it's Marcello Bombardi, Koichiro Korenga, Loic Timmermans, Yuki Hada, Yovel Schemler currently through, if our maths stands corrected, which I'm sure it is because Ilana's done it.
Yeah,
No
I
pressure.
hope so. That's great. You've all had a great performance a while ago, and it's stood up. So
Yeah, I think he's going to be the happiest man in Chamonix tonight to have made a finals. I mean, he was
should be.
so happy when he came off, but the complete opposite situation for Sebastian Helenke. He really would have thought he would be a guy to push for a finals position, and not meant to be, but here we go.
Sean McCall.
Competition carries on, and it's the big man, one of the most decorated climbers in competition history, Sean McCall from Canada, comes out. Is Sean McCall back on form? Let's see. As you can see, they're currently World Cup standing is 35th, which is way off the pace for his point of view, but he hasn't really done any competitions in the leading this season.
Yeah, so he didn't. I don't know if that's his Boulder World Cup standing, but he did not compete in Villar last week because it was the wedding of one of his childhood friends. So this is his first lead World Cup of the season. He's been training really hard for it.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't look like he's been eating too much wedding cake. Sean McCall looking super fit and so psyched for this competition. So keen to show why he is Sean McCall.
Oh yeah, always.
So Sean known for his explosive style, super fast climber. Surely no difficulties in this lower section for Sean, and he's a real showman.
Climbs very confidently. Does not hesitate. We see that on the dyno. Just goes for it without thinking.
Just off to our right, outside of the tent here, we have a slight situation with one of the athletes who's just come off the wall. Sebastian Helenke visibly really upset, but tough game, competition climbing, not meant to be. He'll be back to live to fight another day as we look through Sean McCall, who's blasting through this early section, looking in fine form. Tell you what, it was pretty close to missing that left foot. Ilana, you're keeping yourself pretty composed here for your compatriot. I'm impressed so far.
He looks pretty strong, that's why.
The crowd,
Come on, Sean.
crowd love to see Sean McCall putting on a good performance now. Come on, Sean.
I'm very nervous for him.
Ilana's on the edge of her seat here. Sean McCall goes with the left hand, sticks it. Looks so strong through there.
Yeah.
Only the second athlete we've seen use that method and use it successfully. Sean McCall really strong in the shoulders. The body tension's looking on fine form. Come on, Sean. He thought he had the clip there. It's dropped out. It doesn't seem to have phased him too much. Hopefully he's not burnt too much energy there. A slight mistake halfway up the route here for Sean McCall, but he's looking really solid, super composed.
Barn door. Oh, wow. He doesn't even barn door at all on that
Just
move.
flips the feet up so fast. That's Sean McCall's style. No hesitation. It's like a 100-meter sprint for Sean McCall. Crowd just waiting in anticipation now for Sean. What can he do on this top section? Can we start to see a top? I think he might like this top section. Can see him having a look around for the methods. Oh, cut loose, takes the cut loose. Really enjoying himself. It looks like he's got a bit of a problem here. He's going feet first. Come on, Sean.
Interesting. We haven't seen anybody try this before. He's a little bit tangled up with these feet.
It's manufacturing a rest there, but it's going to be difficult to get out of it, like you say, but does well.
Or not.
Hopefully he's not burnt too much energy in that section. Come on, Sean. He's struggling a little bit here. Just stalled out. Hits it, but hits it low. Smearing on the right foot. You can see he's in trouble, but can he stick it now? Come on, Sean.
Come on, Sean.
Oh!
That'll be enough for finals, though, because that'll be tied in 4th place with Yuval and Yuki Hada.
Well, it's a great effort from Sean. he seemed to, when he started going feet first there, he started to kind of, he just sort of got himself in a bit of a tangle, burnt a lot of energy with the feet above the head like that on such a steep angle. Sometimes it can work and kind of manufacture a rest, but Sean McCall
does it anyway.
It should be enough, we hope, for Sean McCall to go through to finals. And what a great result for him, Milena, to come back, missing the World Cup for a wedding, been off form on the bouldering, but looks like he's got it down now. He's back in the game.
Yeah, I think that'll put him through to finals. Whew.
Another great show from Sean McCall. Takes the applaud from the crowd. You can see out of breath, but it was a great goal. Gives the thumbs up to the crowd.
That was a great fight.
So, only 3 climbers left to perform tonight. Next athlete out is the Italian and super on form, Stefano Giscolfi. 11th in Villars.
I believe that's Gisolfi.
It's close.
Yeah, it is. Almost.
So the 23-year-old super experienced competitor made finals back in Paris, only just in the World Championships. Recently climbed a handful of 9B routes, so this guy's super fit at the moment.
Really strong.
And a great guy too, super nice guy to be around. Let's see what Stefano can do tonight. With only 3 athletes left. Places up for grabs in the finals. And Stefano will definitely be one of the athletes who wants to be there. So we hope for no early upsets through this first section. So Stefano Giscolfi, God, I can say
Stefano.
Stefano, I actually know him quite well, so I should get this right. Sorry for the pronunciation there, long day. But Stefano looking really good. Actually missed the right hand slightly there, but has
no matter.
No matter, doesn't need it. Finds it good position on it now, gets the hill and just takes a slight moment before tackling this next steep section. So come on, Stefano. Decides to take the clip from the bent arm. So can he follow up a great performance from Sean McCall as the 3rd from last athlete out? Come on, Stefano. Doesn't look too comfy in the toe hook there. Opts for the hill.
Oh, it doesn't like that too much either.
Again, this is the early problems here for Stefano. Not too happy. Oh,
that was close.
So close to the falling off the bottom of that hole, but regains himself. Hopefully he's got the fitness to recover from that now. An early problem here for Stefano. Surely he's got some good resistance. He can come back and start to find some recovery through this next section and head further up the route. A lesser climber may have phased them. He just sort of had a couple of looks at the hill, the toe, hill, back to the toe. In the end, got it done, but hopefully, like we say, that's not taken too much energy from Stefano Giscolfi.
I think as long as he reads this next section correctly and doesn't hesitate, I think he should be.
I think that'll be a real sign of the form that he's in. If he can recover now and get close to a high point on here, it'll be put him in a really good position heading into finals. A real confidence booster. As you can see across the top of the screen then, this is the current standings as we look at Stefano getting the crowd going for a fight. It's compatriot Marcello Bombardi is actually leading the way, joint with Kochiro Karenga and Loic Timmermans. These guys all safely through to finals with only 3 athletes left.
And we got another 3-way tie for 4th place with Yuki Hada, Sean McCall, and Yuval Shemla. All those athletes are safe into the finals right now.
So Stefano makes his way through one of the early cruxes on this route.
And Yuval is the first Israeli athlete to qualify for finals at an IFSC World Cup.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. To see a new face in the finals is really cool.
Thanks, Commander, for that.
Good facts coming in from you guys at home. Hashtag IFSCWC. Good to see the level of experience from the viewers. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, good that we have fact checkers at home.
So exciting here in Chamonix. We're trying to keep an eye on all of the facts and all the scores and the climbing at the same time. And what great climbing it is from Stefano, showing incredible composure and fitness. Just takes a look down at the time. He was slow through the early section, but still has time. Stefano's just struggling a little bit here. You can see the elbows raised slightly, but he's onto a good hold. He's one of those climbers who just seems to have a bit of a struggle, then compose, and then have a bit of a struggle and compose, and that's just his style up the route. But he's looking pretty fresh here. He's going to have to keep an eye on the time.
He has a sneaky little bicycle there. He's standing and had a tow hook in there. It was cool.
Good route climbing tactics, through and through route climber here from Stefano. Here we go then, into the head wall. Over the angle change. Let's see what he can do. This is where we lost Sean McCall. Into the undercut with ease.
And this should guarantee him finals right now.
It's good work from Stefano. He's actually looking good. Can we see someone get a new high point here? Gets the clip nicely. Straight arm on the left hand. That's going to put him in a good position, but it's all about this next move.
Let's see if he can control this little pocket.
There is no foothold for the right foot. It's all about the rollover. He's going with the left hand. Sticks. It's the first time we've seen someone on that hold. That's score 36. He's wrong-handed in there, but can he get it swapped? He's gone for the crimp. Oh! Great effort. The crowd gives it up for Stefano.
Nice.
Gisolfi, great job. Our new leader. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, he went to the pocket with the right hand, which got him the high score, but realistically, he wasn't getting out of that one.
No, he wasn't going to do a little Houdini match there, was he?
Yeah, there's a reason why everyone else has been going to that with their left hand, but at that stage in the game, sometimes when you get so pumped like that,
you just got to be smart.
You just, I think, but sometimes you can just get your mind can get clouded by the pump, and you just, it's just like grab and pull.
But that's also smart. He knew he could maximize his points by guaranteeing himself that next hold.
Yeah, I mean, Stefano's been competing. His first World Cup was actually here in Chamonix in 2009, so he's been competing a long time. And like you say, that's a great point, that the experience just to go for the next hold. He probably knew that he wouldn't be able to get the crossover to go with the left hand. So he went for the right hand, and it worked well for him. But we have Sean McCall down at the wall.
World Cups, it's like you've never been away.
Thank you. I felt really good, and I think I'm in finals, so even better.
Do you feel at all rusty when you come back? Does it take a bit of getting used to, or with 100 World Cups under your belt, is it like riding a bike?
I might be rusty, so I come into it thinking it's not going to feel perfect. And yeah, I'm waiting for that first route, the first qualifier on the right. It felt really, really good. I did top it, and then I was right back into it, and I felt really good in the semifinals.
And on the semi-final, it looked like you couldn't quite figure out that last bit onto the lower angle bit of the wall. Do you think that was just a bit of rustiness, or just some funky route setting?
Definitely some route setting. We had previewed to keep our feet pretty low, and as soon as I went to go match the hold, I thought it was going to be too far to go to the next one. So I was like, okay, I'm going to cut my feet, I'm going to campus. And then when I matched hands, the right hand wasn't quite good enough just to campus off, and it was like panic mode. And it's not really panic mode, it's more like, all right, problem solved, quickly mode. And I was like, okay, no foot. And then I was like, okay, that's way up there. And then I was just spinning in that kind of direction. And I was like, all right, feet first, doing it. And once you choose a situation to do, you have to execute like 100%. If I'd have gone 50% there, if I would have fallen, I was like, I'm going feet first. Got it, figured out my hands, barely made it through, and it actually killed me for the top. I made it one more move, which I think that was the penultimate hold to make the finals. Made sure I got the plus, and that was it.
It was amazing to watch, and we can't wait to see you in the finals. Hope you never know, another World Cup win. How did one last year?
It's the first finals of the year, first comp of the year, so I'm really excited, and you never know.
There's no pressure, just enjoy it.
Thank you.
Well, hashtag interview of the century there with Sean McCall. What a legend. He's obviously enjoying himself out there.
It's great to see.
Great to see, and what's great to see is the final French athlete on the wall. It's 33-year-old Romain de Grange, and the crowd is all behind Romain here.
Winner last week in Villars.
So yeah, this guy's on super form, and he's been in and around Chamonix, living here for years, so he's going to have a lot of fans here out in the arena in Chamonix. So it's all about Romain de Grange. Pretty much from the start of the competition here, they've been just been giving him so much support from the very beginning. The local MC really giving him a shout out all the time, and yeah, he's on top form. Previous World Cup winner at the last event in Villars, like you say, Alana, and you can just see everybody's on the edge of their seats here for Romain. Come on.
So much support.
Allez, Romain.
Merci les Suisses de lui avoir offert cette superbe montre. Aussi, il restera encore une étape en France. Allez, allez, Mokhtar, allez.
So Roman into this crux section then. So far so good. A through and through route climber, just all about the resistance for this guy. Super, super fit, trains so hard, been in competition climbing for so long. World Cup winner. Just twists out to the crowd. Just as we look at Roman through this section, we have Charlie with Sebastian Helenke.
Sebastian, I understand you're disappointed. Thank you for talking to us. Just explain what happened when you fell off that hole.
Well, I mean, basically all what happened is that my hand slipped away while I was trying to grab the hold in the right way in order to move on. I mean, it was a little bit of an awkward position, but up to there I felt actually really good. So, yeah, it was super disappointing.
And what can you do to forget this? You just think, it happened, I move on? Or does it make you train harder, or you just write it off and you try again in Briançon?
Well, I mean, right in this moment, I'm really not able to tell you. I mean, my season started awful, and it carried on with a second pretty bad competition, and now again an enormous punch in the face. In this moment, I really don't know what to do in order to forget this. I mean, well, there are 2 weeks until Briançon, and right now, I mean, I know that my shape is actually good, and I feel stronger than the year before, so I don't know. It's nothing about my shape. I'll just, I don't know, try to relax and move on, and I hope that something is going to change in my mind till Briançon.
Well, you had some bad luck last year, and you ended up winning a World Cup, so stick with it, you just never know.
Thanks a lot.
Best of luck next time in Briançon.
Thank you.
A really tough moment there for Roman de Grange. We just lost him. It's so hard to contain ourselves during that really interesting interview there with Sebastian. But Roman de Grange just feet went. What do you think, Ilana? Is it going to be enough? There's hundreds of people in Chamonix. Anguish screams when Roman came off there.
It's not enough for finals.
I can just see the foot slipped. It's such a shame. You could just see everybody in Chamonix's breath was held. So close. We're frantically checking their scores for you guys at home, but it may not be enough for Roman with one climber still to come. It's Domen Skofic, but
so if Domen beats him, then I think he's out. As of right now, he's in, but
yeah. So Roman de Grange currently sits in 8th position. I believe we have the results coming across the top of your screen, and what a situation that was! So tough for Roman de Grange. It's a real upset for the French athlete. Lives in Chamonix, not currently going through to finals, but chances are if Domen does well here, he won't make it through. It's a real shame, and for him to be the winner of the previous World Cup. There's going to be a new winner at this competition.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be pretty stressed in the next 6 minutes to watch Domen climb.
So the final climber in the semi-finals here in Chamonix.
Second place last week in Villars.
Yeah, 22-year-old from Slovenia, part of an incredibly strong Slovenian team. Won 3 World Cups and the overall title in 2016, so this guy is definitely no slouch. So our final climber out, what's been a great evening semi-finals here in Chamonix. Fantastic competition. Domen Skofic then working his way up through into the dyno, makes it with ease. Good work. Domen Skofic is known for his incredible footwork and his heel hooks. This guy is kind of well known for his skills with his heels. I like that.
And is fairly slow climbing.
So Doman then gets through the early section of the route without too many problems, and it starts to fight up the super steep wall. This is the last climber of 26. A long time in the isolation zone, but hopefully that's not had a negative effect for him. Takes the swing with ease there.
Doesn't hesitate on those heel hook, toe hook kind of moves. It's good.
Yeah, Doman's obviously great at bouldering, but when it comes to tying into the rope, you can just see he's so comfortable with the style of the routes. Looks so comfortable on the wall, and just finds all the tricks in the book: the heels, the toes, knee bars. And his partner Janja Gambri will be out into the semi-finals tomorrow morning. So,
that's an interesting little knee bar that he's found. I don't think anybody else has done that.
Yeah, he's actually moved his left foot away from the good part of that hold onto the edge to kind of manufacture a bit of a rest. And like I say, he's pretty wily when it comes to finding the tactics on the routes, finding the rests. Come on now, Doman Skofic. Can we see a top here tonight? Route setters have ramped it up in a major fashion from the qualifying round. No top so far. Stefano Goscolfi currently leading the way, sitting in first position. He's most definitely through to tonight's final. Stefano was a couple of moves away from a top.
Oh, Doman
finding himself in a bit of a situation here, struggling a little bit. This is where we lost Sebastian Helenke, so that hold is obviously causing some of the climbers problems. Ooh, so close to slipping off here, Doman Skofic. Remember, if he falls off, Ramon de Grange is through to the final, so it's a lot to play for.
No.
Huge upset here in the semi-finals in Chamonix. Doman Skofic out. Will not progress any further. The last climber out is in all sorts of problems in that section. People in the crowd looking at themselves thinking, what has just happened?
Oh, and local favourite Ramon de Grange advances to the finals.
So Ramon goes through, and we have another look at what happened here. Doman Skofic just found himself in all sorts of problems here.
Oh no.
Didn't know the method. Read it, I don't know what went wrong.
Read it poorly.
Read it poorly, stalled out beforehand, got himself in basically a big pickle.
Yeah. He looked all knotted up there.
It's a real shame for the Slovenian fans out there.
Yeah.
No Doman Skofic through to the finals. That's a really big upset. You can just have another look then. He obviously went up with the left hand. We know that's possible, but it's the hardest method. And you can just see, just in all sorts of trouble on the left hand. Doesn't know what to do with it. The foot's given him nothing. When he went to move, there's no chance realistically. You know, I thought with Doman being so fit, he may have been able to fight his way through there, but
yeah,
not meant to be. And a great semi-finals here in Chamonix. Ilana, I mean, it's been a great day all through and through.
Yeah, it has. A long day too.
A long day's action. As we have a look in a minute at the semi-finals results. I do believe we are in a position to give you now. Stefano Goscolfi will go into finals in top spot, 37 plus, followed by another Italians on form tonight with Marcello Bombardi, 36 plus, and then it's Team Japan, Koichiro Karenga, also with 36 plus, Loic Timmermans, 36 plus. So 3 climbers going into the final, tied in the semi-final round, and then 5th and 6th also tied. It's Yuki Hada with 34 plus, tied with Sean McCall.
And 7th is also
34
tied.
plus, yeah, good observation. It's Yuval Shemla, the first ever Israeli to make a World Cup final, and Ramon de Grange somehow scrapes through with 33 plus.
Good for the French fans out there.
Kokoro Fuji just misses out. Team Japan, Kokoro, the unlucky 9th place, and a great final, quite interesting actually. Lots of falling on all different types of places, but some early cruxes on the route seemed to be what undid it for quite a few of the athletes.
Lots of committing moves down there, ones that you could not read wrong.
Just carrying on with the scores then, Jan Hoya 11th, you know, he's going to be disappointed with that, but still he's early in his lead climbing career, if you like. And Hans Puman put in a great fight for 26 plus. The Polish athlete Piotr Szab, 24, tied with couple of the other athletes, and all the way down at the bottom of the list, Ramon's Julian Plank, 19. Mashiro Higuchi fell off the dyno, and Fedir slipped off the first move, unfortunately. So results and falls all the way down the wall. So a perfect route from the route setter's point of view. Realistically, they got the result they needed, and a really good semi-finals, and it only queues up potentially a brilliant finals tomorrow night.
For sure.
Well, talking of brilliant finals, we're most definitely looking forward to tomorrow, and we are with Charlie Bosco.
Well, if that was the final for the first night here in Chamonix, if that was the atmosphere, if that was what it was like, I cannot wait for tomorrow. We'll be back in the Place du Mont Blanc at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning with the women's semi-final. We'll be back with the men's and women's final at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.